Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Let's Talk Assassin's Creed. This is episode 172. I am joined, as ever, by my co host, Chris.
Hello, everyone.
And we are joined by special returning guest, Louise.
Have you missed me?
Yes, it's been far too long. Far too long since we talked about Lydia Fry.
My girls.
Yeah.
Twin Defense Squad.
Yes, we talked about. We did a recording together where we looked at the Jack the Ripper DLC. And
Was that the last time I was on? Because that was about a year ago, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, because I finished a whole last degree in that time.
What did you study?
Archaeology.
Very
Nice.
good. And did you pass?
I did.
Excellent.
Nice.
Excellent.
Wrote a whole last dissertation on video games, so that's cool.
Tell us more. What was the heading? What was the title?
So I'm pretty sure people are going to get tired of me bringing this up, but it was Greek mythology and modern interpretations, like queer versions of Greek mythology in Hades. Like that was the core study. So like
Interesting.
Percy Jackson, Song of Achilles, personal headcanons. I don't know. I just wrote about video games for 10,000 words and got a first. So
Wow, that's
Nicely
awesome.
done.
Well done. Well done.
handed in on Star Wars Day. That was always fun.
Mm.
Well, welcome back, Louise. Good to have you back with us.
Thanks for
what
having me
are
back.
Yeah. What are we doing today, Chris? What's the topic?
The topic is Game of the Year or our Game of the Year awards, since,
Yes.
other ones weren't up to par.
This would be our version of the
Understatement.
Geoffs, as they call them,
Yeah.
on Digital Foundry's weekly podcast. That Digital Foundry is they focus more on the tech of games and the visuals. But yes, in their this week's episode, they called them the Geoffs, which I thought was a very good name for the event. But this is going to be a better version, surely, because we can talk about games and not do any adverts.
Let's market.
Let's market
And this
more
episode
games.
was sponsored by
Raid Shadow Legends. I don't know. We should have come up with a sponsor.
NordVPN.
Yeah.
I did have a joke one planned, but I didn't finish writing the full advert. So, you know what? We'll save that for next time.
Next time, absolutely. Well, are you ready, Chris and Louise, to talk about the games we've played this year and our winners in different categories?
Absolutely.
Oh, defo.
All right. Now, if I was really clever at this point, I would insert a drum roll, but I'm not that clever, so we'll just go into it. The first category in our Christmas Game of the Year Awards ceremony episode thing is Best New Assassin's Creed Game. Which I obviously write with my tongue firmly in my cheek. I mean, Louise, you're our guest. What was the best new Assassin's Creed game you played this year?
Well, considering I've only played one, it's gonna have to be Mirage.
Oh, really? Interesting. Surprise. Tell us more. How did you
Yeah.
come to this nomination?
Well, considering that VR headsets make me kind of nauseous, it kind of was a no-brainer. But no, I did really enjoy Mirage. I know loads of people keep bashing it by saying it's too simplistic and too down to roots, but isn't that exactly what we wanted after Valhalla and the like 100+ hour slog to complete it? Like, if a game gives you burnout, you want something quick as the next one to kind of be like, you know what? I'm done. This is cool. I've enjoyed this. I felt fulfilled. I loved Enkidu along with his other feathery boys. I quite like the character arc. I like the questy bits and like Hytham content. How can you not love Hytham? Like, how can you not love him?
I literally just done that quest again yesterday. But no, fair. That's exactly what you're saying. People have been asking for this for a long time, and
And then they moaned about it.
and then they're moaning about it. But no, I'm thinking I'm a preferred playthrough now, and I love it. I think it's a great game, and I'm still finding things out about it. Like I just realized that when you do the upgrade for your throwing knives, that give it like a charge. So you hold the button in instead and you
Mhm.
charge it up, and then it actually takes quite long to fully charge it. And then you get like a gold spark on your hand, and then at that point it's got no drop on it. and I completely missed that the first time.
Oh, so it
That's
removes
so
that
cool.
physics ballistic arc, does it?
There's no ballistic drop on it at that point, and you can throw it like miles.
Oh,
So
that's
yeah, I
so
was
fun because I've never picked up that upgrade for
yeah,
like the third tier one. That's never one I normally pick up.
yeah,
Oh, I'll have to
exactly.
try that.
Awesome.
Yeah. So there's still lots of wee things like still to find out and mess about with. So yeah, I've been enjoying it.
Mm, mm. I mean, my nomination for this category was also Mirage because, like you, Louise, I don't have a VR headset. I would like to try Nexus, but I can't justify the cost for one game. Um, I haven't touched Mirage actually for about a month, just because work and other priorities. But I played it a little bit today just to experience the new update with the new parkour. And that game, it just makes me feel good. It's just so nice.
Yeah.
It feels great.
Mm,
It plays great. The story, honestly, it's all I need. The story is there to make me
Mm.
go and be a stabby boy in Baghdad, and that's what I want. I'm very impressed with the game, and the more I think about it, and the more I go back to it, at my second full playthrough I did, um, the more I like it, the more it grows on me. It's just a really well made, enjoyable game. Um,
Yeah.
did either of you get to try the Jade beta, the
no,
mobile game? No,
my
me
No.
phone
neither.
didn't qualify for like
Same.
tech requirements. And to be honest, it says it's bad of me to say that I don't care, but mobile games just aren't my thing.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same again. I like both of you as I would love to have played Nexus, but again, I've never had a headset. I've tried one of them. I tried the PSVR years ago when it came out at a friend's house, and I've just never been that particularly sold on VR.
Mm.
But from what I've seen of Nexus, it does look like a good time. But yeah, just same as you, I can't justify that price point for one game. So
Yeah, yeah,
maybe if they make more VR games, then I'll probably have to look into trying to get a headset at that point. But if it's just the one game, then nah, I'm not gonna.
mm. Thinking back to episode 170 when we had Hayate and Leo K on, um, he gave a nice kind of breakdown towards the end of the episode of why Nexus was great, and it worked how you would think it would work. Like you can pull yourself up and look over
Mm,
ledges, stuff like that. I would love to try it, but yeah, that cost barrier
yeah.
for me is a problem, which is a shame. But hey, with Mirage, I'm very very happy. Louise, do you maintain an Assassin's Creed game tier list? If you do, where does Mirage go?
I have been debating like making an actual one because I have a mental sort of okay, so it's above this one but below that one for certain reasons. But for going
Are
like
you feeling brave? Would you like to start a fight on the internet?
I will make a full ass video on it next year.
Okay,
How about
very
that?
good, very good.
Just no shameless plug. Add on to the plethora of other articles out there that people love to be like, why is this one so high? But you know what? I don't care. It's fun. I enjoy reading them and seeing people's thoughts.
Absolutely.
But if we're going through like the ABT, ABC tiers, like a high B, low A, I think. Because there's obviously like no game is a perfect game, but coming off after Valhalla, which is the game that gave me Burnout, which was saying something considering what 2020 was like it definitely improved a lot, but there are still some issues that I had with it. Like there were some things that are kind of mainly story critiques because being a writer and all, but like high B, low A.
Very good. What about you, Chris? Where does Mirage fit in the tier list?
Oh, right. Well, I've always been a bit weird about tier lists. I don't like doing them because
Well,
I hate
you
the
can
That's
you
fight that
fair.
it
can take
brings.
you can take a
But
fifth, mate.
but everybody
That's
knows
fair.
my favorite is AC3, and I think you guys asked me like when I was on as a guest to begin with. I think you asked me what the one I didn't like the most, and I think it was Rogue But
Yeah.
the reason for that is just because you play as a Templar, and I don't really care
Yeah,
about that.
same here. I have my issues with Shay, but the ice,
Yeah,
the Arctic is gorgeous. So,
yeah. I
but
mean, it's a
yeah,
still a fun game. I still enjoy playing it. I mean, I
yeah.
enjoy, as I've said many times, I enjoy every single one of them. But I mean, the more I
You
play
just like some
Mirage,
more than others.
yeah, exactly. And the more I play Mirage, the higher it's climbing on my personal list because
Ooh.
I actually really enjoy it. And I said, when it first came out, I said this game was made with love, and I definitely stand by that, especially now with the new update. I feel the fact that they came out and they were like, "I we've done improvements to the parkour system." I was like, "What?" I actually couldn't believe that. Like I don't think they've ever done something like that before.
It's
And I feel
amazing,
like,
isn't it?
yeah,
We should just say we're recording this on the 14th of December. So what, a week, less than a week after the big title update with
yeah,
New Game
Mm.
Plus, parkour improvements. And I was thinking when it came out and we got that those features. There's two things I've heard a lot of people ask for, including us on this show. Would love some replayability. They've delivered it. Lots of people have said the parkour it's there. It's not great.
yeah,
It's a little bit better than Valhalla because the city has been built around it, but they've delivered it. It's amazing.
yeah,
It was 40 quid. They could have said it's 40
yeah,
quid. It's a small game. You've had your fun. We're moving on. And I'm so impressed that they haven't. They've come back and added these two features. They fixed the chromatic aberration that some people can
yeah.
see. And, you know, so I'm
On that,
very,
actually, I was really surprised how quickly they fixed that.
Yeah, and me.
Because I mean, the photo mode for Origins is still messed up to this day, and I think
Yeah,
Valhalla's still got the depth of field glitch that people always complain about.
oh,
yeah, and it
really?
was years for the PS5 upgrade for Syndicate to get fixed
Yeah,
They
because
didn't
that
fix that
only
until
happened. Was that
this
earlier
year.
this year? Yeah,
Yeah,
so that was at Q1 this year, I think.
yeah. So I mean, I don't know if it's just all down to Bordeaux or whatever, but I mean, they're definitely setting the bar, I think.
absolutely.
So
Absolutely. Very impressive. So it's been a good year for new Assassin's Creed games. You know, those that
yeah,
have played Nexus, one of our, or Leo, of course, who we spoke with 2 episodes ago, but another of our previous guests, Jason, he's been playing it as well. Has he been playing it or has he bought a headset and not started? I forget. But everyone that's played it has been very complimentary about Nexus. So it's been a good year. All right. Any other thoughts on Mirage from either of you before we move on to our next category?
no, I'm good.
No.
All right. Chris, over to you. The stage is yours.
Alrighty. So the next category is for the best Assassin's Creed game we played again. So I'll go over to Louise first.
Okay. Um, so,
Starting an answer with a laugh is always good.
but the thing is, on our planning document, we had like boxes for us to write our answers so we could have talking points. But I've basically replayed every single Assassin's Creed at some point this year, besides AC1. So,
Wow.
Fair enough.
yeah.
But out of all of them, then which one did you enjoy playing the most again? Then
Well, do I want to give my basic bitch answer and say Syndicate, or do I want to actually
Ooh.
put some thought into this?
I tell you what, you can say Syndicate, and then we're going to press you to really think about the answer and say something else.
I mean, for the ones that I've revisited after a long period of not playing them, honestly, Unity. Unity's and Revelations, I think, are the two that stand out for me this year. Unity, I think, because this is the first time I've tried playing the co-op missions. True, I played them alone, but being able to like try different sequences and like actually put a methodical approach into some of them rather than being like, okay, I've done these objectives, kill the guy, get out, or like do all the stuff that I'm used to. Like letting myself try this thing in a new approach feels quite nice. And then Revelations, it's been so long since I've played it, I'd kind of forgotten. And like I played the Lost Archives missions for the first time as well. like before. I'd obviously seen them before, but previously it'd been like I'd watch someone else play them on a charity stream or just the content, the compilation on YouTube. So yeah.
Yeah.
Now, just a quick question. That sorry, Chris, to speak over you. Did you replay them all because you wanted to, or did you replay them all because you're now the proud owner of a beautiful gaming PC and you wanted to try them out on the new machine?
Well, I actually tried them out on the PS5.
Oh, the other beautiful new
the
machine.
graduation present, yeah.
Nice.
But no, one of the things that kind of changed me this year, I really got into trophy hunting. So a couple of games that kind of finished the main story and left, I revisited because I wanted to see how I could challenge myself to get some of the other trophies that I didn't have. So like the Spider Assassin Achievement Revelation I didn't have. And then I think, was it Icrake in the charity stream that we did in February, March? He did it with inverted controls. I thought, oh, it can't be that bad then. And then did it on my first try, or the collectibles in Liberation. Like little things that I hadn't picked up and be like, I can challenge myself a little bit. Like see how my differing play style with a different objective changes my perspective.
Absolutely. Talking my language now with trophy hunting. This is the stuff I love for. But honestly, see, getting into trophy hunting is such a good way to actually see a game, because I've always loved it. And one of the main, like, see, people really hate collectibles. I actually love them. I'm probably one of the only people in the world to say that, but I absolutely love collectibles. And it's because I like taking time out of the missions or whatever, and you basically just slow down and you're just like, okay, where am I going next? Okay, I'm going to go up there and get that flag or whatever, that feather or whatever it is. And you end up just taking it slowly and you get to see the whole map basically because you're traveling around it. Because I use maps and stuff like that. So I'm like, just collect them all in one go.
Sometimes they're right by like it's not even just AC. Like some of them are right by like Easter eggs or a little bit of a secret bit of the map, or I think one of them that I found in a different game was like by a like memorial to someone, or like there's a thing with the cats in Mirage. It's something like that. It's got that little bit of a personalized touch in there somewhere.
Yeah. So trophies are a good way to push things forward. So James, what about you? What was your favorite Assassin's Creed game played again?
Well, confession time. I haven't played any other Assassin's Creed games this year. I've played. I know. I'm sorry. This is where the crowd goes crazy. Starts throwing tomatoes at the stage. Yeah, absolutely. I've played a large number of games this year, but really just some new purchases and playing games off my backlog. Maybe we can come to that topic later, Louise. So yeah, just because I'll tell you. So I played a few games at the start of the year. Some of them we're going to mention later on as we go through our awards. And then I had a big break for a couple of months while we were doing the fundraiser project. And then, yeah, when that was finished, I just sort of played a wide range of indie games, AAA games, short games, long games, but I haven't played any other Assassin's Creed games this year, apart from Mirage twice. So I played it all the way through on PS5, got all the trophies. Not as quick as you though, Louise, because I think weren't you the third person to get the platinum globally or something crazy like that?
According to PSN profiles, because I double checked this when I was making the platinum hunting video, and I checked it the other night. It was 7th when I made the video, but it's now down to 8th, but I'm still like top 10 according to that website.
Nice.
That's good.
So
I've done it twice now. I've got the PS4 and the PS5 version.
Oh, wow. Nice one. I've just got it
Not
once.
auto-pop either. I did it the hard way twice.
And you helped me a few times.
I did. After I pretty much annoyed everyone trying to find that book. It was only fair.
Oh. And there's one chest that we can all go and get now, which is the chest by Al Ghul behind the locked door. That has been one of the bugs that's been fixed in the most recent patch, which I know a few of us have been trying to get to. Anyway, sorry. So yeah, I played Mirage twice, finished it on PS5. Did a quick playthrough on PC, and yeah, that's it from me. That's the only one I've replayed. So Mirage was the best Assassin's Creed game that I played again this year. Another win for that
default.
game. Yeah.
Well, you did technically play it again.
Yeah,
I did.
that's fair enough.
It still counts.
I'll tell you one little anecdote. So all apart from a bit of Unity, which I never finished on the PS5, all other Assassin's Creed games I've played on PC with keyboard and mouse. Chris and I and Declan, we got early access to Mirage, but it was only available on consoles. And I was in 2 months. I don't want to learn to use a controller. I use a keyboard and mouse, but I can't turn this opportunity down. So I said to the community developers, yeah, we'll take the codes. And actually, I very quickly got used to it. And actually on PC now, I did my PC replay with controller as well. And I'm definitely feeling very comfortable with that approach. But I still think I'll go back to keyboard and mouse for the other games, just because that's where the muscle memory is. Anyway, Chris, what's the best Assassin's Creed game that you've played this year again?
Well, unlike you, I've played. Oh, actually, more like Louise. Actually,
Did you hear that?
Actually,
Did you hear that? Oh,
I forgot that Louise had just said that she had played basically all of them again. So I should have really just compared myself to Louise. But yes, I have basically played near enough all of them again this year. I mean, but I just kind of cycle through them constantly and have
Did you
done
have
the
an
whole
order,
time.
or did you just play them randomly,
Nah,
or like I did?
I just play them randomly.
Yeah.
I mean, I played them in order as they came out, but in between that, I'm just like replaying them all the time. And AC1 is getting ridiculous at this point. Like, I think I've probably completed it like 100 times. I don't know, maybe more.
I still don't think I've played it. I think,
well,
like, I've even played like the DS Assassin's Creed game, the Ezio one,
oh, nice.
but I've still not played AC1.
You've not played AC1?
No. I have it. I have it on Steam, but I'm a
Okay.
console girly, so
Honestly, I was about to say, look, if you don't have it, I'm going to gift it to you on Steam so you can
No,
go play it. But if
that's
you've already got
fine.
it, happy days.
I have it. I'm just a console girly. I think the only game I've played on PC this year has been Lord of the Rings Online.
Understood.
nice.
Understood. All right.
So yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, but my favorite one that I've played again this year is Odyssey, and that is, I don't know, every time I play that game again, I like it just a little bit more. I just enjoy it so much more, and I think it's at the time, when it was just before Mirage came out, a few years back. Out of the free RPG games, I didn't really like Odyssey that much. It was probably my least favorite, and it all start like in the beginning. I didn't like it from the get-go just because it was set before Origins. That decision really annoys me. But the more I play it, the more I just absolutely love it, and I think it's probably the better one out of the three now. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. Plus, I wanted to play it again because I knew I was going on a cruise with my girlfriend, and our where we were sailing from and where we were coming back to was Athens. So I
Lucky,
really,
Athens is gorgeous.
yeah, big time. So we took a day and we went up to the Acropolis and got lots of pictures. And yeah, it was something else. It was actually just a mind-blowing experience. And playing Odyssey before that really kind of just set the mood for me. And I don't know, I just enjoyed it so much more. It was just amazing. So yeah, Odyssey is fastly becoming one of my favorites.
Awesome. How does it, on a replay, because you said you've played all the games many times, then how does it compare to Origins? Because I know they've got some different style, but I feel
Yeah.
like they're very close siblings. You know, they're basically the same
Yeah, they obviously have like the same
gameplay
DNA,
loop, and yeah,
and
yeah.
they kind of run basically the same way. But I mean, going back, like I really don't like the way Origins feels, like the movement and stuff like that. Like and like same to be said for Eivor as well. Like I think they both feel quite heavy and not really fluid enough. Whereas
Yeah, we had
Cassandra
this chat
seems to
the other
just
night, didn't
sprint.
we?
Yeah,
Yeah, we had this chat the other night because who is it that compared it to? We were talking to AC about AC3. It's that they both feel heavy, but Connor has that sort of fluidity that A4 doesn't. So
Yeah,
she feels heavier.
yeah. And I mean, you can feel it in Bayek as well. I mean, he feels quite heavy as well. Not obviously nowhere near as bad as Eivor, but you can still feel it a bit. Whereas Cassandra, man, you just push forward and she just sprints, man. She just goes. I love
Yeah. Well, this warms my Odyssey fanboy heart. I'm going to be honest with you.
it.
Good stuff.
Good. Glad I could help.
Thanks, mate. Well, Louise, over to you.
Yes. So our next award goes for the best Assassin's Creed Transmedia. So we're talking the books, the mangas, the webtoons, the comics, maybe the audiobooks that came out a few years ago. Who knows? I've kind of interpreted this as best that doesn't have to be released this year, or the ones that we just picked up this year. So James, do you want to start?
Yeah, I mean, as you just mentioned there, it's been a bumper year for transmedia
It's been
novels,
so good.
web, what's it called, a webtoon. Enter the boomer onto the stage here. I didn't know what a webtoon was until that Black Flag one got released. Has there been more comics? I'm not sure if there's been more paper comics this year. There's been a lot of different content. I'm not really a comic person, so I think the novels have been great. We interviewed Maria Lewis 10 days ago. Really enjoyed Daughter of No One as a standalone novel. Well written, great plot, great to expand on the backstory of Roshan. But it was great to have part 2 of the Engine of History trilogy. We think it's a trilogy, although I'm not sure what's happening with the 3rd book yet. But
It should be.
yeah, Magus Conspiracy was honestly one of my most favorite pieces of transmedia in this whole franchise. It was just a proper Assassin's Creed novel. Was that 2 years ago now? I think it might be. Really enjoyed those characters that Kate Hartfield created and brought to life, and then going back to see them as older, wiser assassins, and you know, a plot thick with action and crisscrossing Europe and everything. So I think for me, Resurrection Plot would take top spot, but absolutely honourable mention to Daughter of No One, which I also really, really enjoyed reading.
Okay, cool. I do have my own thoughts, but we're going to come to me in a minute. Chris, what about you? Daughter of No One for you? Or
Yeah, it's Daughter of No One for me as well. But because I'm not really a comic book guy either, but I love reading books. But sadly, the only book I've read this year is Daughter of No One. But I've got a copy of what you call it, The Highlands Children, so I'm dying to read that. Just need to start, obviously, but I feel like that might take the top spot because of what it is. It's set in Scotland and stuff, so
yeah,
obviously I'll just be like, yes. But yeah, Daughter of No One, that's one of the best books I've read in a while, I feel. I really enjoyed it. And then obviously our interview with Maria, I mean, I really enjoyed that interview. I thought she was really,
She was
really good
great.
person to talk to, man. And it's the whole thing is kind of inspired me to kind of pick up the pencil again and start writing stuff.
do
Because I
it.
mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm not going to say anything really for now, but got an announcement next week that yeah, people will figure it out then.
Very
Oh,
interesting, mate. All right, interesting.
exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say if people are listening to this episode, if you didn't listen to the previous one, the interview with Maria Lewis,
Go do it.
maybe you're not interested in the transmedia, maybe you're not that interested in that side of things. That's fair enough. But if you are interested in writing, the process of writing, a bit of the industry, she gave some really interesting insights into what it's like to write for the big franchises. She's written for Marvel, she's written for DC, now she's written for Assassin's Creed. So just from a writing point of view, process,
Yeah, it was bloody
whatever.
excellent.
Yeah,
Like, as
a
someone
really
who
good
is trying to write a
conversation.
book,
Yeah.
like, it's so helpful and such an insight.
Yeah.
So Louise, what was your best Assassin's Creed transmedia of 2023?
So for those who don't know, for the last couple of months, I've actually worked in a bookshop. So pretty much since September, books have been my life. So I pretty much have once again read a lot of transmedia, a lot of the books, a lot of the comics, a lot of the webtoon. What is it? The Forgotten Temple? Can't believe I can't even remember its name.
The Forgotten Temple sounds like an Uncharted game, don't you think?
Yeah,
It doesn't really sound
really
like an
does.
Assassin's Creed. Anyway, sorry, off topic. Sorry, Louise, back to you.
You're not wrong though. To be honest, you're not wrong. But no, I've read so many of the books this year, and even like you said, Chris, I bought some of the Fragments novels. Like I've got the Children of Highlands, the Highland Children, rather than the French version, which translates to that. But I do also have the French translations of the other books, of the Fragments ones, which I want to get to. But that's not my favorite one. I actually only just got around to reading Sword of the White Horse, and Neve, I love you. I love you so much. I love that book. It's just some of the things that is written in it that you can tell that the author has lived experiences or put a bit of themselves in the characters. Like we all know what happened with Hytham at the beginning of Valhalla, right? And like particularly when he's talking about like the injury and like the chronic pain that comes with that. I'm like, yes, they understand the thing. As someone with chronic pain, it's like, yes, you know. And it's amazing. It's always nice to see Tamworth, and like I always love Excalibur, and Neve just warms my heart a little. I enjoyed this book. I read it back to back with a book that was quite similar, that was Sisters of Sword and Shadow, which is like Arthurian legends but women. So I think that sort of bigs it up a little bit. But honorable mention to the Resurrection plot, because my girl Evie.
Oh yeah.
And everything that James said.
It wasn't that a nice spoilers for Resurrection plot, I guess. Anyway, too late. Wasn't that a nice way of integrating the Fries without being too? What's the right word? Maria was talking about this last week. You know, it's fun to have Easter eggs and references, but don't make it
not shoving it down their throats. Yeah,
that's the phrase. Thank you. I couldn't think of it, and it was there's just a few little references, and it plants that story in the universe without bashing you over the head with, hey, the Fry twins are over here. They're over here.
Yeah, it's not like, it's just like, we're just going to make the entire thing with the twins tagging along. It's like, Evie's there for a bit. Jacob and Henry are in-law bonding somewhere. Who knows?
Probably got
That's what I'm assuming they're doing.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So for you, it's Sword of the White Horse gets your nod, Louise.
Yeah.
All right. Very good.
Need to look into that one.
Chris, we need to sort you out with some of the EPUB versions or whatever, so you can catch up. Or do you prefer paper?
It's not even that. It's just time. It's finding time to read these books. That's the only thing. But I really forced myself, like the last time. So
understood. I only read a book that I got for Christmas last year, about 6 weeks ago. Just because there's always other stuff to do. And actually, when I sat down and read it, I was completely hooked, and I finished it in 24 hours. But yeah, I know what you mean. It is it's tricky
I feel like I'm on a different wavelength to you two, because obviously I work in a bookshop. I'm surrounded by recommendations all day. I think my Storygraph says I'm over 110 books read this year, and none of them are rereads.
Hell's bells.
Including ones that I got. I read Girl Goddess Queen, which is about like Persephone and Hades. It's a 400-page book. I read it in like 6 hours the day I met the author.
Hell's bells. I have one observation, Louise.
Mm-hmm.
How big is your bookshelf?
There are multiple bookshelves. There are multiple boxes under my bed full of books.
Right.
There's even like an additional stand full of them. I have told people not to buy me books for Christmas.
Indeed.
And 3 people went, I don't know what to buy you now, because that was my plan.
All right. You need to have one of those like online gift lists so people know what to pick from the list, you know. Okay. Shall we move on to our next category?
Yes, I think to stop me talking about books for the next 4 hours, I think we should.
Well, there may be a little bit of a book tangential theme here, but we'll see. So the next category is not an Assassin's Creed category. This is one that I added to the list because I was thinking about the games I've played this year. So this category is the best game that we tried again. And what do I mean by that? I mean a game that maybe we tried and never finished, a game that we tried and didn't like and never wanted to finish, and we just decided I'm going to go back to it and I'm going to try and finish it, and I'm going to maybe enjoy it or maybe not. Or maybe you tried multiple. So I'll get us started, and I'll hand over to you, Chris. So for me, the best game that I tried again this year, finally, on the third attempt, I finished The Witcher 3. Now, for a lot of people, The Witcher 3 is one of the best open world role playing games of all time. I totally respect that. The first two times I tried it, it just didn't gel for me. And I don't know why, but this time, I don't know, maybe I guess it's mindset. I went in with a bit more of a relaxed mindset, and I finished it. I did enjoy it. It's very difficult because, of course, it is a very well-respected game. I don't know if it grabbed me as much as other games I've played. Probably not. But I did enjoy it. I can totally understand why people lose hundreds and hundreds of hours in that world. There's plenty to do. It's very deep. Great writing, great storytelling, great performances by the actors. Some things I found really odd, I've got to say. So you level up, you get ability points like you do in all these games, but you can only have a few of them active at any one point. I just my brain could never cope with that. Why can't I have all of my abilities active? What's the point in leveling up if you're not going to let me use all the stuff? And at this point, if you're listening to this thinking, Jesus Christ, James, do you not know how to use the menu in the game? That is entirely possible, right? But it just messed with my head. But yeah, a very good game. Very glad I've played it. Would I replay
Which
it?
ending did you get?
Apparently, according to IGN, there are 36 different endings, though I think some of them are quite minor, like little bits in the cat. So in terms of like main endings, Geralt ended up with no one because I chose too many romance options.
Oh
dear.
I mean, Team Triss, obviously. Anyway.
Fight and talk, but go on.
And Ciri became a Witcher. That's one of the other endings. Is there a third major ending branch that I've forgotten?
No idea.
I can't remember.
I've never completed it, so.
I mean, I've kind of underplayed it. I did really enjoy it. I enjoyed it enough to invest, 80, 90 hours in it. I played both of the expansions. Hearts of Stone expansion is incredible. That is amazing storytelling. It really is. Blood and Wine is a bit more lighthearted, a bit more fun. Enjoyed that too. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it, but I don't know if I'd ever grade it near the top of my sort of personal gaming list. What about you, Chris?
Well, I've never actually played The Witcher either. Well, I've tried to play it twice and I couldn't get past a lot of it, just not because of I'm not physically able to. It just didn't
I'm
capture
sensing
me
a
at
theme
all.
here.
Yeah.
I'm really sensing a theme here because I literally have only defeated the Griffin at White Orchard. That's as far as I've got on like 4 attempts.
Okay, and that's
It's
just a
the
tutorial.
gameplay.
Yeah, the tutorial.
I think the story in it is good. The side stories are good as well. It's the gameplay that I don't like.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is. It's just the way he moves about and all that, and it's just not fun.
I've seen somebody write like a video essay on it because obviously I want to try The Witcher 3 because I want that experience. But people say to get like the full words, to get the full experience of using all the mechanics and stuff, you have to play it on Death March difficulty, which is the hardest one.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Feels like it was designed for.
I can understand why someone would say that, because you're supposed to use the oils
potions
on your
and
blades, the potions,
and...
the bombs. And I played it not on the easiest, but on the second.
I'm just here for Gwent, okay? I'm here for Gwent and Ciri.
Can I just say, Gwent? Every time I got an option to play cards, I chose the option of fuck no. I have not got time to play a game inside a game that will take me 20 hours to learn. Sorry, if you're listening to this,
you're in luck because it's an entire separate thing now and an esport.
What?
Yeah.
Amazing. Anyway,
there are Gwent tournaments.
At least it's not as bad as some of the mini games in like Assassin's Creed. Honestly, like see in Assassin's Creed 3, like
there's
Panorama or whatever it's called.
Don't
like,
even start.
never played it.
I would
Save
jump
yourself
off
the
a
headache.
bridge.
Don't.
No.
Don't.
There's a beautifully
Run.
designed mini game in Horizon Forbidden West called Machine Strike. Work of art, quite complex rules. I guess every major open world game is trying to bring its game within a game. I haven't got time. I did enough to earn the platinum by cheesing it. So I got the trophy for playing 2 games of it, and I moved on because I just haven't got the brain for the mini game. I know Gwent's popular. There's actually a whole quest in the middle of the game where I think, because I didn't choose that option, if I'd have kind of built my Gwent deck and leveled up my Gwentness by that point, I could have played Gwent to get an easier route through that quest. But I was like, nah, screw that. I'm not playing cards. I'll just fight you guys. It's more fun. I just got the sword out. So yeah.
See, I think there's a lot to be said for the fact that, like, if you're already into like deck building games or whatever they are, I think you would be like, oh yes, you know what I mean? But I've never been that person, so
because I grew up on like Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff, so I'm sort of used to stuff like that.
Your interest is like,
yeah. So me, I've never played Magic the Gathering or any of the other card. I mean, proper card games, but not deck building games. So yeah, I skipped over that.
Sorry, Chris, we've really derailed this, haven't we?
This is what we're here for. Chris, what was the best game that you tried again this year?
So the game that I tried again is Elder Scrolls Online, and that's probably a weird choice for most people, but I've always kind of loved MMOs since going way back to I was like 14 playing things like RuneScape, right? And I love Elder Scrolls games. I think Elder Scrolls, if I wasn't doing stuff with Assassin's Creed, I'd probably be doing stuff with Elder Scrolls. But I'd played it a few years back, got pretty far in it, and then I just stopped playing it. But then recently I think there was a new update for it, and then I'd seen the trailer, and then there was a few people in Discord talking about it. I was like, yeah, I really, really want to play that again. So about a month ago, I reinstalled it, started playing it again, and I'm having the time of my life. I love it. Not everybody's taste, MMOs are not, but it's just something I've always really enjoyed. So, and it's funny because I usually play them solo, which is the complete not point of them, but
I've never played an MMO. I'm going to be honest with you. No.
Fair enough.
So, but I'm assuming you're supposed to make clans or squads. I mean,
that stuff is in it, but I mean, it's basically like, so obviously, Skyrim and all that stuff, right? But so it's like every bit of the map, basically, from the Elder Scrolls lore is in this, well, the majority of it. And it's just, it's all these quests and armors to unlock and demons to fight and just all sorts of stuff. I just love all that crap. I think it's brilliant.
Hello listeners, this is Future James here. I'm currently in the middle of doing the audio edit for episode 172. You've listened to about 45 minutes of us doing our Christmas Game Awards, and at this point my PC had a blue screen of death, something I've not seen on my PC for years. The Zoom meeting that we were running, of course, closed. I thought we'd lost the audio tracks, but fortunately we had the first 45 minutes of the audio, so we picked up the recording again. I rebooted my PC, we got back into our Zoom call, and from there we continued our conversation, and Chris got us started. So this is now going to be the smoothest edit and cut. Back to Chris and Louise. Let's go.
So we just had a bit of a technical difficulty there, but we're just about to go on to Louise for best game we tried again. Louise.
I've kind of mine's kind of 2 games I've tried again, but it's the same genre, same franchise, same adventure. So, like I said earlier, with the trophy hunting, I've started replaying some of my other games again to kind of finish off the trophy list. Be like, okay, I've had the full experience. I've learned everything. Like Detroit Become Human, I've platinumed this year. Until Dawn, I platinumed again. They aren't my answers, by the way. They're just like the big two that comes to mind
Are they
besides
the
my answer.
nominees, Louise, for the category? Is that what you're telling
They
us?
are.
Okay,
They're like the honourable mentions from this year.
gotcha.
Or they would be if like 2017 Louise hadn't left her with just the bad endings and the collectibles to do. Like they're not bad games. Like Until Dawn can be cheesy at times, but going through all the bad games felt like the bad endings where everyone dies, it felt really horrible.
Yeah, that's no fun.
I just did not like that at all.
Yeah.
There's a reason I did the good ones first.
Yeah, it's hard to do failure well in a game.
Yeah.
It's not even failure, it's deliberately being an asshole.
Yeah.
But no, the two games that I tried again were the Middle Earth games by Monolith, so Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War, because I'm a massive Lord of the Rings nerd, and they were actually two of the very first games I played when I got my PS4. I think it was pretty much the week or two that Shadow of War came out that I tried them. I did not stick with them for very long, to the point that I think I had one trophy of Shadow of Mordor and was on the second quest. I think we're seeing a running theme with The Witcher and what happened in 2017. That I just, little baby gamer, just couldn't handle it. The stealth was so different from stuff that I was playing at the time that I was like, no, I'm just going to leave this. I'm going to play Origins because that's come out recently. I'm going to stick with the stuff that I know and like, but no, I gave them another go this year and absolutely bloody loved them. Like Lord of the Ringsy setting, perfect. Little acknowledgements, check. Laura Bailey, check. Troy Baker, check.
Laura Bailey and Troy Baker are in those games.
Yeah, Troy Baker voices Talion, who's the player character.
Oh my god, I didn't realize. Right,
Laura
okay.
Bailey is his wife in the first one, and in the second one, his like elven companion, who's hunting the Nazgul.
Nice.
And Travis Willingham's also in both. But what I think is funny in Shadow of Mordor, he's like one of the outcast humans who lives in Mordor. There's a quest that you do with him where you have to go and like he teaches you the mechanic of like poisoning grog barrels. And people who are Critical Role fans will know that his first character was called Grog Strongjaw. So as he was like, but I could only hear it in, it wasn't his character. It was just Travis talking as Grog for the entire thing. And that's all I could hear. Like, so I entertained myself. But in the second one, he's basically the steward of Minas Ithil, like Minas Morgul and stuff. So that was quite cool. Spoiler alert, does not last long because Lord of the Rings lore.
Yeah.
But they're really fun.
So
I'm not selling these very well.
No. I've
just
never
wish
actually played
Talion's
them.
the only thing I didn't like was the ending. I think Talion should have got a better ending than what he got in Shadow of War. I really don't want to spoil it if you haven't played it, but it's disappointing.
Do you think there will ever be any more of them?
No.
No,
The way
it ended
that
then?
the ending, like the epilogue bit of Shadow of War, is the end of Lord of the Rings. Like there is a shot-for-shot moment in Return of the King, which turns 20 this week, which is ridiculous.
Oh wow.
Like there's a shot-for-shot bit where they're just like, oh, Talion was actually this canonical character all along. Surprise. And it's like, yeah, okay, there's no way he'd come back from this.
So I've got a question for you because, as I said, I've never played it, but I've heard references to it in the past for like being similar to Assassin's Creed games, and I never knew what people meant by that. So do you know why?
I can see that with the stealth mechanic,
right?
Because I think that was the thing that tripped me up at the beginning was the stealth was so similar to Assassin's Creed, but it's so difficult because it is kind of like it has roguelike elements in the idea that Talion can't die.
Right.
When he dies, he reverts back to somewhere else and like time progresses on in Mordor. Like you've heard of the Nemesis system, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sort of thing of like he can die, but he just respawns back maybe a little bit stronger as you go through, but you never really lose progress in the way that when you fail a mission, if it's not a main mission, you can't try it again. It will progress, and there will be, I don't want to say punishments, but the orc or the captain or like the orlog and whatever killed you will get stronger and may gain strengths to combat the way that you fought him. So if you rely on the bow a lot, he may be immune to arrows, or he might become fireproof. It's really good active feedback.
I've heard
it can be
lot.
A pain if you keep dying.
Yeah, I have heard a lot about the Nemesis system from lots of different people, but I think did they patent it or something so that no one else can even come up with
because
something
that sort
similar?
of shit would have been great with like the Rooks and the Blighters mechanic would have been great for that. Using it with the other mercenaries in Odyssey would have been a great way to use it.
Yeah, it's a shame that greedy corporate.
How can you patent?
I really do not know.
I know as much as you do, Chris. I haven't played the games. I've heard about this system and it's patented, but it's just code.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm not a patent lawyer.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But then again, like the React channel tried to trademark reacting on YouTube, and look how well that went. Do you remember that?
I remember that from a few years ago. Yeah. Yes, it was the worst apology, one of the worst apology videos ever. Anyway, it's quite funny.
And then Colin Ballinger brought a ukulele and one-upped that.
I don't know the full story there, but I know I recognise that name. It's something bad.
Just 10-minute deep dive. It'll explain everything. And
it's so bad.
Oh, crikey.
So bad.
But yeah, Shadow War and Shadow of Mordor. Very good.
Okay.
Would recommend.
Those are your best games that you tried again. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Right, so next award then. We're going with Best Old Game. And how are we defining old? Well, we thought probably anything before 2015. So, James?
Do you know, I need to check actually when my nominee was released. So I'm just going to quickly Google that.
I want to say 2012.
See, because I wanted to say Sekiro because that's just my favourite game ever. But
2013, you're okay. 2013, you're okay.
Yeah, I'm all right. Sorry, Chris. So you would have nominated Sekiro for this category?
Yeah, because that is my favourite game, and I mean that technically it is an older game, but it's only a few years old. So
this was a bit of a vague category, free to interpret. Yeah. So yes, my nominee for this category was released in 2013. The nominee is BioShock Infinite. Ooh. Now, I'll just set a bit of backstory here. Those that have listened for a while will know that I first played video games in the mid-90s. I didn't play many, but I played mostly RTS games, flight sims, driving sims. I never played story-led games. I never played first-person shooters or any of that stuff. And then I had a very, very long break from gaming. So basically, the Xbox 360 and the PS2, PS3, PS4 generations of games I completely missed, and then got back into gaming in 2019. So a lot of the games I've played over the last 3 years have been just a random collection of older games, either ones that I've just seen on Steam that are heavily discounted, or ones that the cover art looks cool, or recommendations from people like Chris and Louise. And I was looking on Steam in the summer, and there was BioShock Infinite, and it was a couple of quid. And I thought, I've heard of BioShock, but let's give it a try. I didn't play the original, which a lot of people will call out as just a singular piece of storytelling and gaming. But I thought, I'm just going to give it a try. And my God, I was completely hooked. I played it obsessively in every spare hour I had. What a story, what performances from the actors, visually absolute feast for the eyes. Gameplay is just smooth, fast, satisfying. There's nothing about it that I could say was wrong with it. And it's one of the most, I mean, I've played a lot of different games this year, released in many different years, and I think it's absolutely incredible. I then went back and played the first Bioshock a few months later, and I enjoyed it, but I don't know whether I didn't enjoy it as much. Maybe it's showing its age. I don't know, but I totally respected why people found it to be so good, but it didn't hook me the way Infinite did. Infinite blew my mind.
I think the first one relies a lot on that plot twist. I think, because I've only played the first one, but I know about 2 and Infinite. But like going back into it, if you know the twist, you don't feel as, for me, I didn't feel as invested.
Right.
I think that might be why. Like if you know the things you're looking out for.
So maybe I ruined my experience a little bit by playing them out of order. Although, did I just get the best experience by knowing nothing and going into Infinite?
Did you go into Bioshock 1 knowing the would you kindly plot twist?
I didn't. But
that's what I'm talking about. No, like
but
going back in and replaying it after knowing that.
I didn't know it, but several chapters, I don't know, let's say a third of the way through the game, you've got the Irish voice in your headphones whose name I can't remember the name of the character. Is it Jack something? Anyway, whatever. I did clock on to that phrase. And I thought, that's a slightly odd phrase. Why is it appearing at certain points? But I didn't understand until, of course, the story expands and you realize what's going on. What I did really appreciate about the first Bioshock game was actually towards the very end, as your character, and again, I don't remember the name, I'm really sorry, the character actually goes through that evolution of becoming the big guy in the diving suit. That was really quite disturbing to go through that transformation as the player and have no choice, you know. So an excellent game, but Infinite, absolutely, just I thought it was incredible, blew my mind. Definitely goes up there as one of the best games I've played, one of the best games I've played this year for sure. Chris, back to you.
Oh, yep. So the game that I have is Age of Empires 2, which is a really, really old game.
When was that released?
Oh, I don't actually know. I'm gonna have to look that up now because I mean I used to play it like years and years and years ago when I was a wee guy on my dad's PC. I would play it.
September the 27th, 1999.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
like one,
it's just younger than me.
Awesome, mate. Great choice.
Yeah, I mean, I used to play it as a kid on my dad's PC, and then I can't remember if it was this year or last year, but they brought it like kind of remastered to Xbox Game Pass, and I was just like, as soon as I seen the trailer for it, I was like, oh my God, my childhood has come back. So I've been sitting playing that for the last couple of months, just getting that nostalgia.
Is it completely open-ended? Or is there an ending point you get to, or can you just keep playing forever?
Well, there's both really, because there's a campaign,
okay,
and then you can just do random skirmishes where you just fight the computer, or you can fight people, like actual people over Xbox Live or whatever. But yeah, I don't even do that. I just like playing all the campaigns because it's got a lot of history in it, and it's like, so it's basically got like almost everything you can think of. I mean, they've got like the British Empire, they've got the Turkish Empire, they've got the Byzantines, they've got like just literally every empire and thing that you can ever think of is like in that game, and they've got their own dedicated like campaign where you need to go through certain missions, and it's usually like from battles or wars that were famous or whatever. So yeah, it's got like everything in it. Yeah, good game if you're into that kind of stuff. And it's an RTS, so.
Again, gamer confession time. I've never played an Age of Empires game. But you know, around that time, end of 99, I think that's when the first Total War game came out, Shogun Total War.
Right.
Now, this will make you feel old, very old. No, very young. Sorry, this will make you feel very young, Louise. I played Shogun Total War as a demo, and you got the demo on a CD with, I think, PC Gamer magazine or something like that. So I bought the magazine, I played the demo, and it was just like 2 of the battles. And again, it was all 2D sprites in those days.
I am
You are
young
a young
baby.
baby. But I was hooked,
It's
and I
like,
played all the Total War games for about the next 7 or 8 years until my PC was end of life. So yeah, I never played the Age of Empires line. I went down the Total War line.
Fair enough. Well, see, that's like because there's other people that like, oh, they didn't really play Age of Empires, but they played Age of Mythology. And I mean, I like them too, but I don't know. I like the Age of Empires more because it was more grounded in reality and the stories it told. Because I mean, like the tutorial for that game is William Wallace, and like you do like 5 or 6 missions just in the
oh,
tutorial,
that's
and it's like,
cool.
oh, you need to go down and fight the English. Good game.
Sorry, I was
So what
just
about
getting
you,
there
Louise?
comfortable in my seat. Sorry, mate. Say that again.
I was just saying, I'm going to hand it over to Louise then. So what about you?
Yes. So I have another honorable mention for this, and it kind of relates back to what James just said about this will make you feel young. So I had a job interview for a writing job a few months ago, and the guy that I was talking to, we started talking about Golden Sun. It's a JRPG from like the noughties. And it was one of the first games that I ever owned. Like I had a secondhand copy for my DS. And he was like, oh, I was there for the launch party of that. And it's like, I played it secondhand when I was like 8 years old.
That's crazy.
It has nostalgia vibes for me. But alas, I have
It
not.
was on Game Boy Advance and Nintendo DS.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like I must have been 8 because that was the year I got it for my the DS for my birthday. So like I was very baby. But yeah, nostalgia vibes. I think I made that guy feel too old as
Awesome.
well. It was so bad. But my actual one, I think, is just in the cutoff. I think the game came out in 2014. Because my other option would have been Vampire, but that came out in 2018. So a couple of years too late. But the one I picked, Sherlock Holmes, Crimes and Punishments.
Nice.
Tell us why.
Well, quiz mistress are here. I really like puzzles. Like 2 of the books that I've read this year have been the Myrtle books. Like it's part of my daily routine to just do puzzles. And one, like I think I've said in a previous episode where I've been a guest here, how much I loved the Sherlock Holmes versus Jack the Ripper game. Played that way too young, mind you. I was like 10 or 11, but I really enjoyed the puzzles, and puzzle games are just fun for me. I just love seeing different strategies, and like I got a bundle of them in the Black Friday sale. I think I got Crimes and Punishments, The Devil's Daughter, which is the one set after this, and the new one from last year, Chapter 1, for like a tenner, which amazing. But Frogware's a developer, definitely knows how to make a Sherlock Holmes game.
I recognise that name. Have they done others then? That maybe because I haven't heard of the Sherlock Holmes games that you've nominated here, but I wonder what else they've done that I've heard of.
They did a Cthulhu-esque one that was a remaster, re-release this year of like their very first one.
Oh, they're a Ukrainian
They
game
are.
developer based in Kyiv.
There's even a dedication at the beginning of Crimes and Punishment. It's like for the Ukrainian 100.
Oh.
Can I?
Which I thought
I'm
was
just
quite
looking
sweet.
at their Wikipedia article. Can I just read out the list of games they've
The Awakened.
developed?
There we go.
This is great.
Yeah.
So Sherlock Holmes, The Mystery of the Mummy, Journey to the Centre of the Earth. Sherlock Holmes, The Case of the Silver Earring, 80 Days. Sherlock Holmes, The Awakened. Sherlock Holmes versus Arsène Lupin. Oh my God. I need to play this.
I want to try it.
to play this. Right, Dracula Origin. Sherlock Holmes versus Jack the Ripper. World of Battles. Morningstar. The Testament of Sherlock Holmes. These guys love Sherlock Holmes. This is amazing.
They're so good at puzzle games.
This is fantastic.
So good.
Then there's Sherlock Holmes, the one that you nominated. Crimes. Is it Crimes? Yeah, Crimes and Punishment. Sherlock Holmes, The Devil's Daughter, The Sinking City, Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1, and then Sherlock Holmes, The Awakened. This is amazing. I love how many Sherlock Holmes games they've
They're
made.
so good.
They love it.
But the thing is, you know how like the stereotype of Sherlock Holmes in adaptations, that he's a bit of an asshole, that he's antisocial and he's rude about it. In here, it doesn't feel like that. It feels very much like Holmes in the novels, in the serializations, including the illegal substance use once or twice, but we'll get to that. But there's loads of homages to like little nods to some of the things in the book, like at his like desk that he used to kind of analyze data to get new clues to go and investigate. There's like the 12 dancing men with the semaphore flags from one of the puzzles. That's like my favorite Sherlock Holmes story. So I really like that. There's also a dog. They have a dog called Toby, and you can play as the dog.
Oh,
In 2 or 3 of the 6 cases in this game, you can play as the dog for a
Awesome.
bit.
right, sold.
All right. Very good. So we're saying
And there is a trophy for petting him and interacting with him in every single case.
quite right. That's as it should be.
Yes, they know what the people want.
So for you, Sherlock Holmes Crime and Punishment is your top old game that you went back to this year and played.
Yes.
Very nice. Very nice. I would also, before we move on to the next category, I do want to make an honourable mention. And I should have mentioned this a moment ago when I was speaking. I played towards the start of the year, just a very short game, and in a lot of ways completely unremarkable. But I thought it was absolutely fascinating, some of its concepts, and it's called Remember Me. And it was I think it was Don't Nod's first kind of let's quote unquote proper game before they moved into doing Life is Strange. And if you're just looking for it, I mean, it would be very cheap now because it's a 2013 game. But if you're just looking for a small but really interesting action adventure, a little bit of platforming game, really fascinating. The memory editing bits, and I won't say more than that, just I thought that was amazing. Not something I've ever seen in a game before, but as a puzzle framed as a memory, which of course connects to the theme of the game. Very, very interesting. So that's my honourable mention for the category is Remember Me by Don't Nod. Sorry, I'm done. Okay, Louise, back to you.
Yes, next category time. So we kind of alluded to this earlier, but the next category is the best game we got someone else to play or that we recommended to someone. And James, do you want to start us off?
Right. Yes, I will mention a game that I saw being played on a live stream probably only a couple of months ago. Ubisoft Quebec were doing a 24-hour marathon to raise money for a children's hospital in Canada. And it was awesome. So there was a few different members of the dev team there on the stream. And they were doing all kinds of silly challenges, as well as playing quite a few different games. They played some Immortals Phoenix Rising, which is a game they developed. And they played some Odyssey. And then they did quite a few different sort of couch co-op games. And one of the games they played, which I was watching on stream, is called Overcooked, and there's also Overcooked 2. And I saw it and thought, I've been looking for a game for the Switch that we have here in the living room that we could play that's a bit light, bit casual, but fun. And it looked like the right sort of thing. So I bought it, gave it to my kids and said, go have fun. And it is brilliant. It's very simple. So you have your Joy-Cons, you can have up to 4 players. You are chefs in a kitchen, and you need to get the food out the door as fast as possible. And your little character runs around the kitchen and you chop the food and you cook the meat and you stack the burgers and put them on a plate. But of course, the way it's animated is it's all a bit silly. The heads bobble around. They've got these big silly grins. The characters crash into each other. And what you end up having is the 4 of you are trying to get your little chefs around the kitchen, and you end up laughing and shouting at each other, get out of the way. I've got to get the lettuce done. No, I need to get the soup. We've got another order. And it is brilliant. So my nomination for a game that we got other people to play is Overcooked, which is on the Switch. It may be on other platforms as well, but we had it on the Switch and it's brilliant.
Nice.
It sounds like absolute chaos, and I'm here for it.
It is. If you're having a party and you want to get some friends together and just mess about and laugh, definitely recommend it.
Yeah, I've seen it on streams and stuff. People playing it, and it looks just chaos.
It is. It really is.
Yeah. Perfect party night, though. Shame I sold my Switch a few weeks ago. God damn it, I could have bought that.
Oh no.
I just missed out. Oh well. But Chris, what was yours?
So, game that the best game that I got someone else to play it. Well, I think James, you played it, didn't you? Yes. Yes.
I did.
You
I
did, right?
did.
Okay. So my game is What Remains of Edith Finch, and
Ooh.
I just replayed it again last night because there was some things I wanted to just remind myself about. But yeah, and I've chose this game even though it's a very simple game. There's not a lot of gameplay to it. It's more of a novel, a visual novel, or an interactive story, sorry, than anything. But yeah, it's that game. I played it 2 years ago first, and I said last night on Discord, it lives rent free in my head because I think about that game all the time, and it's because of the stories in it. I have just so many questions. I wish I could just get a hold of one of the devs or something, or whoever wrote it, and just ask them everything. Because yeah, there's just so many questions about the stories in that game, and I just can't stop thinking about it. It's weird.
Not weird at all. You're right. You recommended it. I played it a few months ago, and it's 2 hours
Yeah,
at most.
yeah.
You walk.
Is it? I thought it was longer than that.
No,
I'm
not
not
at
so
all.
sure.
Oh, interesting.
Even if you wanted to trophy hunt, there's only a few trophies. It might add an hour to the play time at most, I would guess.
Oh.
Very,
yes,
very
it's a
short.
very easy 1000G
Yeah,
or
and
platinum.
it's just unique. I don't even know how
Yeah.
to describe it. What I'd say is go and buy it and play it.
Yeah, it's basically just like it's a story about a girl, but you're kind of exploring her old family home, and throughout you will be you'll find stories of her family members past, and yeah, it's quite a sad game. Some of the stories are absolutely heartbreaking, but yeah, it's so many questions.
The bit that blew my mind, and I won't say the details so as not to spoil it for Louise, but one of the later mini stories where you're working in a canning factory.
Yeah.
Do you remember that one, Chris?
Yeah.
Because you played just last night. So
Yeah.
you're doing an action with the controls and you're exploring a story. And this is the genius of video games. It's the story, the visuals, and it's the interactivity. What are you doing with your hands? And that bit, like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It's that perfect meshing of everything that a game can be.
Yeah, it's one of the most unique things I've ever seen done in a game, and I was really impressed by it. But yeah,
do you know, it's funny you say unique, right? On my spreadsheet here, I always write a few sentences for every game that I play, and all I wrote next to this was a unique game, fascinating, moving, disturbing. I didn't know what else to write because you've got to play it to know it.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like you don't really want to say much about it because then it just gives a lot of it away. So it's like,
yeah, because I've deliberately not researched anything about it. Like I haven't played it yet.
Yeah,
and like I didn't know how long it was. I don't know the trophy lists. Like I'm gonna go through it whenever I get around to it from the backlog, completely blind. And it's like you may have another person you've recommended this to very shortly.
Cool. Yeah, it's definitely something I think everyone should play once just to get the story and just see what it's all about. I think you'll enjoy it.
There is a related game by the same developer. I think it came out after, or I could be wrong there, which I also played this year. Again, very short, probably 2 hours, called The Unfinished Swan. Have you played that one, Chris?
I've not even heard of it, no.
Okay. I could be, but I'm not going to Google it because that's cheating whilst we're recording. I'm sure it's by the same developer because apparently there is a little lore crossover between the two.
Ooh, I love it when developers do that.
Very small, apparently. I didn't spot it, and I haven't bothered to read a guide to see where it is. But if you're looking for, again, a really unique game, and I won't spoil anything, The Unfinished Swan, and all I'll say is...
It won a game award.
Oh.
The Unfinished Swan did?
Not The Unfinished One, sorry. What Remains of Edith Finch.
Okay, I'm not surprised. I mean, incredible. But
Best narrative.
Yeah.
So what you were saying about how it wrote, how it felt.
Yeah.
When you're buying it, if you can afford it, stick The Unfinished Swan in your basket as well.
Yeah, I think I will.
Very interesting game, really unique. And the opening moment made me just like, I did an audible wow.
Yeah.
when I figured something out. And that's all I'm going to say.
Ooh, I like that.
So,
Ooh, enticing.
anyway, thank you. Yes. So Chris got me to play What Remains of Edith Finch. Excellent choice, mate.
Here's the thing. My pick is also one that I know that you've played, but that someone also recommended me this year. Well, I actually had two answers to this, but I feel like this one kind of fits with the theme that we've got going, so I'm going to say it anyway. Lost Words is my pick. It's another little indie game. One of the writers is Terry Pratchett's daughter, Rihanna. It's a like puzzle platforming game where it's kind of split into two halves, where you've got like the real world story of this girl called Izzy, who's a young inspiring writer, and it's like through her journal where you literally jump on the sketchbook to get across and go through and like creates adventures, and then you go into like the magical realm of the character that is this guardian of fireflies in this fantasy story. Absolutely gorgeous. I sobbed my heart out playing this because it's one of those quick little indie games. I cried so hard because of like some of the themes that it's going through. The way that I've described this to certain people has been, it's like Grease, or like Gris. You know, the one that's like color theory and the 5 stages of grief.
Yes.
That, but like kiddie. And it's got a little bit of a narrative to it.
It's a good recommendation, Louise. I thought you've got the sort of the story within the story. The interactive fantasy world was great, but actually it was the journal sections I really loved. Platforming on the words and finding holes in the pages and sort of diving through the journal and making the journal an interactive surface was just fantastic. Fantastic.
Especially when sometimes you can get the surfaces to change by having the character jump on them.
Yes.
I think it's about 2/3 of the way through when the truth of what's going on with her grandmother comes to light. And it's like you keep jumping on the word to progress the story. And then you like how some of it feels different depending on how Izzy is feeling. It's like broke my heart, but like was a very, very good game to play. And it felt rewarding. And like Rihanna Pratchett wrote it, so you know it's going to be good. That family is just so talented.
Yeah, it's a great recommendation. We should probably do, I think what we'll do with this, I don't know how I'll publish it, but I'll do a list of all the games we've talked about. And I'll either put it in the show notes or I'll link it in the show notes so people can go and read it. Because if you're interested, you can go back and see the games that we've discussed. And if you're interested in buying them, playing them, whatever, streaming them, then you'll be able to find them.
James. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, go.
I've just looked at Rihanna Pratchett's works, her Wikipedia page. BioShock Infinite.
She worked on that game?
She did. She also worked on the Tomb Raider reboots. She worked on Surgeon Simulator 2 and the 2008 Prince of Persia.
Hey.
And Mirror's Edge. She's done a lot.
Oh, good game.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Because I have a funny story about Rihanna Pratchett from about, 7 or 8 years ago. My dad accidentally ran into her on a train. And this was when I was applying to university or looking at doing archaeology and history and stuff. But it must have been around the time that she was working on Rise of the Tomb Raider. So they started having a chat about archaeology and Lara Croft. And they took a photo and he sent the photo to me. And I'm like, Dad, did you just meet who I thought you meant? And he's like, I don't know who that is. And I'm like, you like Terry Pratchett, right? He had no idea, and it was just just a wholesome, like once in a blue moon random connection on a train to Cardiff.
Awesome.
It was great. It's so wholesome.
All right. Oh, sorry, it's me. I beg your pardon. I wasn't paying attention to the running order. Okay, so our next category is favorite acting moment. This can be from Assassin's Creed, but it can be from any game, and we get bonus points. The points are made up. We get bonus points if there's a particular moment in the game or a particular line or scene that really made an acting performance in a video game stand out. So, Louise, let's go to you first.
So I'm gonna confess, out of all of the categories we've got for this episode, this is the one that I struggled with because loads of the things that came to mind were not acted. They were written. So it's things like coffee talk, all the stuff in Stray where there isn't a voice actor or there isn't mocap. So I couldn't really put it down. But the one I ended up going with was from Shadow of War. It's for spoiler alert. It's from the bit at the end of Act One where Minas Ethel falls back into Minas Morgul, and like the character that betrays them to the Witch King. My Idril, who is like my favorite character out of the Gondorians there, realizes what's going on, and the scream of her voice actor when that character is killed. I don't know why. It just left a really big impression on me. Because up to this point, she's been like, she's a younger woman, like kind of like that Faramir thing, where she's thrown into a war that she doesn't want to fight. She's very much a historian. She's more interested in protecting the artifacts, to the point that the Gondorian artifacts that you can find around the map, she narrates the history behind them as you find them. But just this bit where her entire world is crumbling down about it, and that one scream just sat with me for the rest of the playthrough.
Great call. Yeah. And that character was?
Idril.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Nice.
All right. Chris, over to you.
Yeah, so I mean, mine is going to be from Mirage. But like I said before, I hadn't not played a lot of games this year. It's been mostly Assassin's Creed stuff. But I honestly think that Basim and Roshan were just acted so well from mocap, voice acting, the whole thing. It was just really well done. And in particular, that moment at the end of Mirage, spoilers, where
Yep.
Basim was just totally lost at that point. And you can see it, like Roshan, she knows there's something wrong with him. And you can see it just in the animation, the way she looks at him. And it's like, oh, beautiful, man. I love that moment. So I would definitely say that because, yeah, I like Louise, I found this one also hard to come up with an answer for.
Fair enough. This was a category I stuck in the document. I did have something in particular in mind, so maybe that was me cheating a little bit. But yeah, there's great. I just wish there was more. Basically, I'll say I wish there was more mocap and less robo animations in Mirage. And to be fair, earlier Assassin's Creed games as well.
Yeah.
Because when they do mocap it, my God, the emotions really hit.
Yeah.
Just not in a way that the auto animated or whatever system they use just doesn't deliver the same. Anyway.
Yeah.
My nomination for this category is, well, it's basically one actor's entire performance in the game, but particularly as it builds to the end. It's A Plague Tale Requiem. And the actor is Charlotte McBurney, who plays Amicia de Rune. Her performance, which was her breakout performance in A Plague Tale Innocence, is excellent. And she smashed it. Like Amicia, again, I don't want to spoil it because I would encourage anyone who likes strong, narrative-led action stealth game, I guess you could call it.
Okay.
It's kind of like Last of Us, but in medieval times. That's how I would describe it.
And rats.
If you want a really strong story, Requiem is it's one of my most favorite games. Spoilers for a later category. Anyway, and Charlotte McBurney is incredible, and the closing chapter, the finale of that game, is one of the most amazing finales I've ever seen in a video game, and a lot of that is from her performance. So yeah, she gets the nod from me. I would also make an honorable mention, Ashley Birch, Horizon Forbidden West, where she voices 3 different characters, and spoilers, redacted. She gives them all unique personalities, but related personalities. So
brilliant. And that's I'm still to play the second Plague Tale. I've played the first one before,
all right,
when it came out quite a while back, but I've just been trying to find the time to play the second one, but it's there on the backlog and I can't wait to get to it because
Same
I've
with me.
heard it's kind of mind blowing. The
Yeah.
second one.
They're
It
the ones that you have
really
to sit
is.
with, I think,
Yeah.
because I still haven't played either of the Horizon games. I haven't played Requiem. I barely touched Innocence because it's one of those what happened with the Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War games. It's ones that I feel like I need to be in the right frame of mindset and
Mm.
gaming ability to, so I can really appreciate it.
Yeah.
But like you've spoken so highly of them.
Do it. Innocence, I really enjoyed it. I remember I got it free through the Epic Game Store a couple of years ago. A very simple game, very different to Requiem, kind of linear, not that difficult. But again, great performances from the actors and the dev team. They had more budget, more people, more time. They took what they started with Innocence and they delivered something fantastic with Requiem. So yeah, do it.
Nice.
All
right, over to you, Chris.
Okay, so our next one is favorite character design. So Assassin's Creed or otherwise, so it can be whatever. Louise, what were you?
So I've said in the planning document, I'm just going to simp over the designs from this, but Stray Gods.
The role-playing musical game, if I remember rightly.
It's the musical one, which has got like Troy Baker in it again. It's got Laura Bailey. It's got Ashley Johnson and Erika Ishii. Even got Armand Bayek in it.
Nice.
Has it?
He plays Eros, and it's also got Rahul Kohli in it.
No,
I recognise Rahul Kohli.
Why have I not played this?
Have you watched Haunting of Bly Manor?
No.
Oh, that's the main thing I can think that he's in. Haunting of Bly Manor, he's the chef, Owen. Amazing. Love Rahul. But yeah, the designs are so cool and I like them, but like when I said simp, it's mainly over Grace and Apollo. Laura Bailey and Troy Baker, because I just love the design so much. It's like Grace's hat is cool and her outfit is cool and I want it, and like Apollo just really, because the whole premise of the game is that when the gods die they can pass on their eidolon onto a new person who then becomes them, and like the memories of the person they once before build a character. So Calliope dies at the beginning of the game, but she passes on the eidolon to Grace, who then becomes Calliope. Like the whole thing is that she's trying to plan like Calliope's murder while also becoming the last muse. And eventually one of the things that she has, like an optional chat, is that will I forget myself? Will I start referring to myself as Calliope rather than Grace? I don't know. I just really like the outfits. But also honorable mention, because I had to put this in somewhere, Vampire. Specifically the player character Jonathan Reed. The trench coat is cool. Like 1919 London, steampunky. Oh God, what's her name?
Hold that steampunky thought, Louise.
There is yeah, I just seen your answer. The Baroness vampire that he also interacts with. I love her outfit. I really do. The styling of this game is great. And like Victorian Edwardian fashion, instant draw for me. Yep. Gimme.
I think there's a bit of there's a 19th century theme that runs through your gaming, Louise, with Sherlock Holmes games and all the rest of it.
I'm going to tell you something about the thing I'm writing off when we're not recording,
Gotcha.
And you're going to be like, yeah, this kind of sounds on brand for you.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right, well, I'm going to just be dead boring, but my favorite character design is actually Mentor Rayhan from Assassin's Creed Mirage, and I don't really know why. I just like the guy. I like the character. I like the way he looks. I like his robes because they kind of remind me of Edward Kenway's robes, but different colors and stuff. Yeah, I like his big black beard. I don't know. He just looks like a cool guy.
The robes are quite unique, aren't they? It's black with like red piping from memory.
Yeah.
It's actually been a while since I've seen it, but it's quite unique.
I really like that.
But it's like the shape of the bits that come down past his legs, like that just reminds me of Edward's outfit for some reason. And yeah, I don't know. I actually really like the character design of like all the hidden ones from Mirage, like, and especially Basim. Like, I think Basim's initiate robes with the blue sash, I think are
They
some
were
of the
cool.
I think they're some of the most beautiful robes in any Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
even like when you look at it really close, it's like the detail on like the sleeves of it, and you can see the pattern in it. And I don't know why, but I feel like I know what that feels like just
yes.
from how it looks. And it's like, yeah, beautiful.
One
I
thing
love it
that's
when
sorry, Louise,
like
go on.
sorry. But that thing of like characterization coming out in the outfit, instantly in love with, even if it's a uniform.
Yeah.
Like school uniforms is such a like easy way to kind of show that, you know, they're a kid or they're in the military or they're doing something else. But how they personalize it, like do they roll up their sleeves? Do they untuck the shirt, pins and
Mm,
stuff? Or is there something a bit more unique to it?
yeah.
Like Bassin's, what is it, like the brooch?
Yeah.
It's supposed to have like a personal connection, isn't it? Supposed to be like a slate from his dad's old work
Yeah,
or
something like
something?
that, yeah.
The one he wears on his front. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. See, I really love that.
That always stood out to me from his initiate robes is the tassels along the back. Not because specifically the tassels, but they move. They've got their own little physics animation,
Yeah.
and they cast a shadow on the layer of material underneath, and it just creates a depth
Yeah.
to the outfit which we haven't had for a while.
Yeah.
Love that.
And it's
Yes.
just those small little bits of physics. They just make it real.
Yeah.
You know, you feel his movement because his clothes are swaying as he walks through Baghdad. It's good call, mate. Some of the outfits in that game
Yeah.
are excellent.
Beautiful. And what about you?
I'm going to pick a slightly different one, although Louise, this is right up your alley. So the Order 1886. Now this is an older game, a PS4 game, so the backstory here is we were in Peterborough, which is a cathedral city here in the east of England, some months ago. And there was a shop on the high street there, which I'd never been into before, I'd never heard of it, but it's a chain of them. You might have them in your towns as well, called Consumer Electronics Exchange. Basically, they buy and sell older tech, consoles, phones, and they had a vast array of older PS4 games. And I thought, I'm going to buy some cheap PS4 games for the PlayStation. So I bought the Nathan Drake collection, I bought the Order 1886, and I bought Killzone Shadowfall. And I'd seen the Order because I'd seen like a retrospective video about it a few months ago. And I thought, I'm going to try that because it has atmosphere and vibes, and it's a sort of alternate history, late 19th century Victorian London, and the character design of Galahad and so on. So they've got the big trench coats, Louise. Okay,
Yeah,
but
because that's the only thing that I know about it is that it's steampunk Knights of the Round Table.
Exactly, and it's
which
fucking
I love
brilliant.
the idea of.
Now, I'm going to, do you know what? Again, I'm going to read my notes that I wrote from when I played the game. Okay, here we go. This game is a real mixed bag. Incredible technical achievement, really focused on the cinematic presentation. And honestly, the visuals are incredible. You are playing an interactive film. Love the vibes, atmosphere, and world building, blah, blah, blah. The overall plot is interesting and the writing is good, but my word, the combat is frustrating. Now, this is just me. I've never played a cover-based shooter before, so perhaps that's part of it. I'm just not used to it, but little freedom of approach. Everything was quite linear. A lot of things are QTEs, which I'm not a big fan of. I finished the game. I would probably never replay it, but I would say, Louise, if just play it just for the visuals. And you might even get some costume inspiration, you know.
I've seen a lot of did it come out around the same time as Syndicate? Because
I think it did. 2014, 2015.
I'm going to be honest, a lot of the fan fiction crossovers for Syndicate are with Vampire or the Order 1886. There seems to be a lot of crossover fans with it.
That would make sense. Similar time period, isn't it? I mean, 2015 it came out.
And wouldn't surprise me if there was a Kingsman game, they do the same thing too. So of like that crossover.
Yeah. So that's my nomination. Great character designs from all the four kind of main characters. Worth playing, I would say, to a not a long game, probably 6 hours or so. And I will say the set piece on the Zeppelin was awesome.
The armor. I'm in love.
There we
Oh,
go.
sorry,
That's
right.
Louise.
This is getting bumped up the
Yeah.
backlog. I love this. Oh, hello, cosplay.
All
Right,
right.
okay. So I'll move on. Otherwise, we're going to be here forever with me fawning over outfits.
Louise, you are hosting the next category. Let's go.
Oh, good. Excellent. So, biggest disappointment that we had this year, whether it's one that we played or one that we saw reported and then decided not to get, like my one that I put down first. Chris, do you want to start us off this time?
Yeah, sure. Well, I put down Watch Dogs Legion. I know it didn't come out this year, but I didn't get to playing it until this year. See, I was looking forward to it. I thought it would be quite cool in London, modern, because I mean we've had quite a few Ubisoft games in London, but they've always been, in the past. So having a modern day London to run about, and I was looking forward to, and see the first like 10 minutes of that game, I think are brilliant, and then it just completely drops off a cliff at that point. And then even especially like I'm a sucker for a good like intro or a good like trailer, whatever you want to call it. And the bit at the start of that game, like so you play the wee intro bit and you're basically like a rogue MI5 agent or something. And basically you do your thing and then that's basically the game starts, and then the game goes into this like long kind of cutscene that basically just kind of goes through like the city, and it's like you hear the news report in the background and what's happening in the city and why it's getting worse, and the rise of the DedSec and all this stuff going on. And that whole part of the game I thought was really well done, and I really enjoyed it. I thought, oh, this is going to be a great game. And then I actually get into the game and then I was just like, nah, this is not really that fun anymore. So big disappointment for me.
I'll add just a little thing there. Do either of you have either of you heard of a YouTuber called White Light?
No.
So.
He did. I only found him a few months ago because he did a really good parkour retrospective on Assassin's Creed. He does very long form video essays, like 2 hours. I like to listen to them while I'm walking the dog. Anyway, just recently he released like a retrospective of Watch Dogs, and he looks at Watch Dogs 1, Watch Dogs 2, and he's pretty critical of Watch Dogs Legion because there are, his point is there are so many good ideas in this game.
Yeah.
And a lot of them just get undermined by other ideas and other systems, and it becomes just a bit boring. But yeah, if you've played the game, mate, you'd probably find that retrospective interesting.
Yeah.
To listen to.
Definitely look into that. Because the game had a lot of potential, and the guy's right. It's got so many good ideas in it, but it all kind of works against each other. It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was sort of the issues that I had with it as well. Like, because my I'll say it now, my runner-up nominee would have been the first Watch Dogs.
Yeah.
Like, I just couldn't get into it. Not everything needs to be connected to technology. Absolutely hated it. Would not touch it. Will not touch again.
See, the best part about Watch Dogs, sorry, just the one thing is the best part about Watch Dogs Legion is the AC kind of add-on thing with Darcy, and the fact that they're saying that she's not canon to the Assassin's Creed story. I'm like, what? Come on, man, just make her canon. You might as well at this point.
That's basically what Abstergo London probably looks like anyway.
Exactly.
With the technology, like, just rewrite some words.
I know, it would make perfect sense for Darcy and that to... And it's the other thing about Watch Dogs 1 with... what's the guy's name? And he works in...
Olivia Garneau?
Olivia. And I think they came out and said that that's not canon either. And I'm like, what? That doesn't make sense.
Same with the Far Cry one as well. Same with like the Far Cry crossover.
Is there a
That's
Far
not
Cry?
canon.
What's that then, Louise?
There's an Easter egg in, I think it's Far Cry 3, where you can find like a number thing. And if you put in 21st of December 2012, it comes up with something. Or like 12/21/12 or something. Like
Gotcha.
the AC3 date.
Yeah.
But that's not canon either, and that annoys me.
You see, like that, I could kind of understand because like I think that would be seen as just as an Easter egg. But with Olivier, he's literally in Assassin's Creed 4, and then he's like one of your targets in Watch Dogs, and I mean, and Darcy as well. Like they're actual characters that have been placed into the game that you do missions for them, and you talk to them, and you help them, but yet they're not canon to the Assassin's Creed story, which I find completely pointless. I mean, why are they not? You might as well.
Yeah. I do love the gangster granny though.
Yeah,
You know, when Watch Dogs Legion was coming out and there was that whole thing of in the demo, there was the granny that just, while I think it was a policeman with a handbag or a drone, and then became like everyone's favorite.
Yeah, she
and it
was
became
a
like
meme.
the advertising from then on.
Yeah.
Love that. James, what's your biggest disappointment of 2023? It doesn't have to be a new game.
Well, neither of them are new games, I'll tell you. So I put two on the shortlist here. And even now, as you've both been talking, I've been trying to mentally flip a coin to say which one would I say was the biggest disappointment. So my two shortlisted nominees are Mirror's Edge Catalyst and Killzone Shadowfall. I played Mirror's Edge Catalyst at the start of the year. I wanted to play it for the free running, and the free running is amazing. The city and the visual design is awesome, but the story, oh my God, I've never seen a game with such a obvious story where the plot twist was obvious from the first moment. The characters are all just the most generic, obvious characters. I finished the main story. I didn't do a lot of side content. And my God, the free running is awesome. The movement is awesome. But it felt like Trope City, I'm afraid, when it came to story.
Aww.
And it really stood out for me for that reason. That's why I shortlisted it. Killzone Shadowfall is an interesting one. Now, that was the last game made in the Killzone franchise, the last game that Guerrilla Games made before they started fully switching to Horizon. And Horizon Zero Dawn came out 2 years after Killzone Shadowfall. And I just wanted to try it just to see what their earlier stuff was like. Now, I'm not steeped in the Killzone lore, right? And I just found it I just couldn't get into it. Very, very slow paced. A number of time jumps in the story that I didn't understand. I was left a bit confused as to what was going on. And there was something about the way everything was presented. So you've got this overlay. You can see the DNA of Horizon totally. You've got this drone that helps you. That's quite cool. But there was just something about how the game was presented. This is going to sound stupid, but my brain just couldn't take all the information in. Almost like sensory overload. I don't know.
I kind of know what you mean. Because just to go back 1 second, I got that the first time I played The Witcher 3.
Yeah, and me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's sort of that sudden overload of stuff of like, oh God, what am I getting myself into?
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
So I'd probably put Killzone at the bottom, and I didn't finish it, so maybe I can't judge it. But yeah, I couldn't get into it from a story point of view. There was so much to suddenly learn about the combat. I didn't get it. The visuals kind of overwhelmed me. It was £2 secondhand. I've lost nothing here. It's fine. So yeah, I think I would have to put Mirror's Edge Catalyst as a nominee, but I would put Killzone Shadowfall at the bottom, sadly.
That's unfortunate. Because the first Mirror's Edge is supposed to be quite good.
Yes, and maybe I should go back and find that one. I'm sure it's very cheap. It's a very old game.
I tell you why. Because they didn't have Rihanna Pratchett right in the second one. That's probably why it's shit.
She wrote the first one.
She did. Or she was co-writing the first one.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
Gotcha.
That's a shame.
All right. Let's move on to our next category.
Yeah.
Best soundtrack. Chris, over to you.
Best soundtrack is, again, Mirage. Surprise, surprise.
Very good, mate. Very good.
No, I absolutely love the music in Mirage. I think it's probably one of the better. I mean, well, I say one of the better. Like they're not all complete bangers. You know what I mean? But yeah, I really enjoyed the every bit of the music. Like the even the menu music, I love. I could just sit and listen to that for ages, and that usually annoys me. I see the fact that they started putting music in menus, like really annoys me. It really annoys me in Odyssey. I don't know why, because it just seems like you hear that one song just
Yes.
so much, and it just drives me insane after a while. But I don't get that from Mirage. It's weird. But yeah, absolutely great soundtrack. The fact that it didn't even get a mention at the Game Awards for best soundtrack or best sound design or whatever it is they
I
do.
thought it was worth a nod.
Exactly, and it didn't get even that, which I think is just shows you how much of a joke that show really is. But you know,
So maybe we wait for the BAFTAs or the DICE awards.
yeah,
What's the one that was it the Grammys that Dawn of Ragnarok won?
I think so. Yeah,
Yes, that's
Yeah,
right.
because there's a video game category now.
yeah.
So maybe.
Yeah, good point.
I mean, if Dawn
Good
of
point.
Ragnarok can win it,
Yeah.
I mean, the music was alright, but I'd say the Mirage music is on point.
Agreed. Louise, what about you?
So the way to my heart to get me to play a video game is to have a banging soundtrack. Like I have this core memory of when I played my first attempt of playing The Witcher 3. I was sitting there and having the Geralt of Rivia theme blare at you from the menu screen and be like, right, let's go. And just being entranced completely. So like music, very good, very good. I can't pick for this one because like I've played so many games this year, including a few of the backlog ones. Like Celeste. I never finished Celeste because I'm weak. But the music is so good. It's so good.
Yeah,
But and like Stray Gods as well, because Austin Wintory is the composer for that. But depending on how you play, the music changes. Like the options that you pick changes the song. And it's the way that the versions of the song can be determined by like what traits you give Grace. And it's so detailed, and if you like the minute detail of like if you go for like the intelligent, I think it's the intelligent route or like the green sparky hopeful route, there's certain instruments that only play when you pick certain items, and I think that's really really cool. But I also really like Stray because cats and that music was like so cyberpunky and cool and just kind of like the bits, especially in like the first two chapters, are so wholesome and I think had the biggest reaction out of me this year, particularly if you played Stray and you know that one chase sequence for the Can't Catch Me trophy. That music will irritate me to no end for the end of time, but that is because of the sequence. But it does itself, it does what video game music should. It should create that awareness and alertness that you need for a fight scene or like a fight or flight moment. And it's so good.
Yeah, Stray's a good one. And sound
Platinumed
design.
it twice this year.
Ooh. Wow.
Is that on PlayStation twice, or was it?
Yeah. PS twice.
Yeah.
Doing that bloody chase trophy twice because it doesn't auto pop. Took me over an hour individually each go.
Oh, that's better than me. It took me about 3 hours, I think.
I know Stray won many awards, didn't it? People loved it. It was nominated
best
in many
indie
categories.
Annapurna, yeah.
Can I be honest? I've played it, I've finished it, I enjoyed it, but I don't get what the fuss was about.
You're not a cat person, but that's the thing.
That is true. we have a dog rather than cats. That is true. But I didn't get the fuss. I'm really sorry, everyone.
Oh, the wee cats. Oh, I love it. I love it. But I'm actually quite a new cat person. I used to be a dog person, but I'm not a cat person. I switched
I've
sides.
always been a cat person. Like Halo's the only dog I've ever had. We just had ginger cats my entire life.
Yeah, ginger cats.
To the point that
Talking of cats, Louise, where is Aslan right now?
in the kitchen having food.
I'm
I
Okay,
think.
fair
He's
enough.
been suspiciously quiet, but I deliberately locked him out so he wouldn't interrupt. He's been very noisy at the moment.
Understood. All
No
right.
more shouty interruptions.
All right, next one.
I'll just make my quick
Oh,
nomination for this
sorry.
category, Chris. No,
Totally
no, it's
forgot.
fine. Oh, one thing I was going to say when you talk about Mirage music, Mirage does some really great stuff with sound that I don't know if I've even heard in earlier games, or maybe I just wasn't paying close enough attention. But you know the detection meter in Mirage?
Hmm.
There's that sound that plays and the pitch changes
Oh
as you
yeah,
get closer and
yeah.
closer.
Yeah.
Have we had that in earlier games? Because I think it's amazing to get
I
that
don't
aural
think so.
feedback as well as
I
the
don't think
visual
so.
feedback. And it really works for making you feel in the moment of tension.
Like, oh, I'm about to
And
get spotted.
exactly, exactly. Um,
Definitely not in Syndicate.
mm,
Um,
Yeah, I
ooh.
don't think it is. I think that's a
yeah,
first.
If it
I
was, it
thought,
would have been in one of the more recent games, but I can't think
yeah,
of any.
yeah. Anyway, I'll get stop faffing about. So my nomination for the best soundtrack, A Plague Tale Requiem, incredible soundtrack. Actually, that album was my top album on my Spotify Wrapped
Oh,
because
wow.
I've listened to it a lot. The composer is Olivier Derivière, who composed the Freedom Cry soundtrack. He composed the music for Remember Me that we spoke about earlier. He's composed loads of video game music. And it's heavy on strings, cello. There are some instruments in there that I've never seen before. Sort of a big violin, but with a fretboard like a guitar. I've never seen that before. So very
Ooh.
strange stuff. But man, the music is intense and it just supports the gameplay brilliantly. So yeah, A Plague Tale Requiem is my nomination for best soundtrack.
Oh, I'm even more excited to play it now. No, I know
Yeah,
it's got a
same.
banging soundtrack.
All right, mate, over to you.
So our next one is best demo you've played this year, and we will go with James.
Okay, I played two demos this year. I haven't played a demo in many, many years. Like we were saying earlier, the one I do remember is getting one on CD on a magazine. Anyway, so there was two demos I played this year. I played was it Life of P or Lies of P? Lies of P.
Lies, li
Oh,
Life, Lies.
Lies of P.
The one about
The
Pinocchio,
Pinocchio.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
steampunk,
yeah, Lies of
Dark
P.
Souls thing. I played that for about 10 minutes. I got to the first moderately challenging boss and immediately died, and again and again and again. Now,
So I feel so sorry for
apparently,
laughing, but just like no.
yeah, it's not my sort of game, but as a visually, wow, absolutely just jaw dropping. Apparently, there was some refinement to the parrying and dodging, which would have probably made that fight easier. Anyway, the other demo I played, and the one that I would call out, is called This Bed We Made. And it's very much that sort of graphic adventure style, like Life is Strange,
Right.
Tell Me Why, all the rest of it. The demo was probably in about 20 minutes. You are a maid working in a motel in 1950s America, and you have to solve a murder. And the
Ooh.
demo brought you up to the very first clue and then stopped. And it's on my wish list. It is now available to buy. I haven't bought it yet just because I have a huge backlog and I don't want to add to it. But hooked me, loved the visuals, loved the mystery. So a very interesting game that I will be following and buying and playing at some point, probably next year. So that was This Bed We Made.
Sounds interesting. I'll need to look into that one. And you, Louise?
Um, so I'm kind of the complete opposite in that I went to a games convention in September and there were like quite a few demos there and I got to like speak to some of the developers. So I've played a few. And I've got like two that really stands out to me as well as some like generic ones. This like games convention was quite indie focused. And there were a couple there that I can't remember the name of, but they were like trying to teach you how to learn a language through a game,
No.
which I thought was quite a cool concept.
Real
Like there was one
language
that was
or a
solely
made up language?
like Japanese,
Oh,
French,
cool.
Italian. There were a couple of those which I thought was really quite cool and they were quite fun to play. But the two that stand out to me is one indie and one AAA. The indie one is called Mithract. I don't know if either of you have played or heard of Roki.
Yeah.
No.
It's by the same developer, Polygon Treehouse.
All right.
You basically play as someone who's shipwrecked on a lost mythical island. you're a backpacker called Alex, and you basically have to get off the island. But you have to like to get off the island, you have to help these gods regain their memory. With all like Greek mythology gods and stuff like that. But I got to have a chat with the dev team who was there, and we had a chat about like the massive poster of the gods that are in the game on the wall. And it's like some of the designs really stuck out to me because like he explicitly called Zeus a short king. And I thought that was pretty hilarious because he's like the shortest like male character. But they've also done things of like I don't know, it's really interesting. Like Hephaestus like has a lot to do with like the wheelchair thing and like make accessibility in his bit, which I thought was really cool. It's a puzzle game, kind of like Roki, kind of like it kind of reminded me a little bit of Heaven's Vault and some of the like Inkle games a little bit, but I really enjoyed having like an hour or so to play through the demo. It was quite fun and the music's quite cool. And my other one is the Prince of Persia game coming out in January.
Yeah.
The Lost Crown, I think it is.
Yep.
So I've never played a Prince of Persia game. I suck. And Bayek himself saw me absolutely trash at this game. It was hilarious. Because he was there at the convention, like, because he owns a game studio. He runs a game studio, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So he was there for one of the games that they were presenting, and he just so happened to come by the Ubisoft booth. And it's like, well, this is totally not embarrassing, but sure, why not? But the game itself, like story-wise, I've really enjoyed it so far. Like, I suck at the mechanics, but the mechanics are cool. They're so fluid, and like, it's really pretty as well. Which I'm really excited. It only comes out in about 4 weeks, 5 weeks.
Yeah, I see.
Not long.
The Prince of Persia, I've not played the demo, but I'll probably wait till it comes out, see what everyone's saying, and then I'll probably end up getting it. But that Mythwreck, that sounds interesting. That sounds like something I would play. It actually sounds a bit like Call of the Sea. Have you played that, either of you?
I have it installed,
Right.
but I haven't actually started it yet.
That's a fun wee puzzle game, very pretty as well.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
And what about you, Chris? What's your best demo of the year?
So mine is a game called Little Witch in the Woods, but I guess it's technically not a demo. It's in game preview right now and has been for the past year or two.
Oh, that's fine. We can count
So
that. You go ahead, mate.
I would count it as a
We
demo.
make the rules.
we
we'll
make the
count
rules,
it.
exactly.
Because it's basically a demo because it's not a full game yet.
Yeah.
I actually won it because I'm part of the Xbox Ambassadors program, and at the beginning of the year, I used because being part of that program, you do all these little things on the website and you get points. And I saved up lots of points, and then I put them all into a sweepstakes for this game, The Little Witch in the Woods, and I
Yeah.
won.
That's
And
awesome.
so basically, I've got access to the free version right now, but once the game is fully released, I will have a copy of it. So this is basically a fun little isometric kind of top-down view game, and you're a little witch, and basically she's an apprentice, and it's basically like when I first seen it, I thought it was a farming game, which I'm not really into. I mean, I played a bit of Harvest Moon, that was okay, but it's not actually a farming game at all. It's like you like make potions and stuff, and you need to like gather like you do need to gather like plants and stuff like that for your potions, but it's not like a farming game or anything like that. And it's you're just going through this wee story, and she's got a talking hat, a witch's hat, and he's quite cheeky, and it's a fun wee game. I actually just kind of fell in love with it because it is just kind of really cute, and it's like very old 8-bit kind of
Oh, nice.
look to
Nice.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very pretty as well. It's a fun wee game. So, I mean, it's on game preview on Xbox Game Pass, so you can play it for free basically
Mm.
if you're on there. Or I think it's meant to have a full release sometime soon. I'm not actually sure.
Ooh,
Will it be an
interesting.
Xbox exclusive, or will it be on?
No,
I guess
I
it'll be on
don't
PC
think
as well.
so. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure you can play it through the PC Game Pass as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
Awesome.
a company called Sunny Side Up and it's called Little Witch in the Woods. Fun little silly game.
Cool.
Hmm.
All right.
We're on the
Louise.
penultimate category.
Yes. Can you feel
We're
the
almost
tension
done.
building?
Drum roll. What, gentlemen, is your most anticipated release of next year? And James, I know you have a full list. Can you name me but one or two?
Right. So I did write a short list. Well, actually, quite a
You
long
did.
short list. All right. I'm going to read out the long short list fast. Then I'm going to whittle it down quicker. So here we go. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. I don't think I have the speed of thought and timing to do a 2D platformer type game. I think it is 2D platformer, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just from the trailer
It's
we
like
saw in the summer.
The Lost Crown, like 2.5D. It kind of felt like, the
Right.
Chronicles games.
Oh, okay. So
But then there is a little bit like 3D element in it as well.
okay. I'm really interested in it because it looked amazing at the trailers we saw at was it UB Forward in the summer.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's
and
one
they've
on
just
my short
released
list.
the story one as well.
I probably wouldn't buy it, but I've got my eye on The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. Fantastic game, fantastic story. I'll keep an eye on it. Banisher's Ghost of New Eden. That's a Don't Nod game that's coming out early next year. I quite like all of Don't Nod's games, so I've got an eye on that. Tomb Raider 1 and 3 are getting remasters next year. Very interested in that. I just finished the modern Tomb Raider trilogy. So I've got my eye on that. Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2. Now, the first game, I enjoyed playing it, and then I got a little bit confused by the story at the end. So I would like to sort of play that again and keep an eye on that. But the two that on my short list are Star Wars Outlaws, because Star Wars, and Assassin's Creed Codename Red, which we think may come out next year, but let's see. Of the two, of course, it's Assassin's Creed Red. I am really looking forward to that. I've really enjoyed Mirage for its constrained story, constrained geography, but I do enjoy an open world game where you can just explore and roam and see a world and do stuff as it comes up. So yeah, Red is my kind of number one there on my anticipated release for next year.
Ooh, interesting. Over Star Wars is what's surprising me more than anything, because our companion in that game, like, I'll be honest, I'm not a Star Wars person, but I love them. Like,
it looks
I
great.
can just see them being made into plushies and like would happily buy.
Sorry, Outlaws, is that the Ubisoft one?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
It is.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see what they do.
But Chris, what about you?
So,
You've
I
got a
mean,
couple.
yeah, I've got a few of them. I mean, I obviously have to say Assassin's Creed Red. I hope that comes out next year. If it doesn't, then fair enough. I'd rather they take their time with it. But yeah, I was saying to James before, this is the AC game I've been waiting for since the beginning. So I'm really excited for Red. But apart from that, I'm really excited for Hellblade 2. I really enjoyed the first one. I've played it a few times. So, I mean, if you want to talk, James, if you're confused about the story, I'll talk to you about it, mate. So yeah, the trailer we just saw for that at the Game Awards looks really good. I mean,
I haven't seen it. I need to go and watch it.
showed gameplay in it, and I was like,
Ooh.
oh yes, right, it actually does look good. It looks like they're really doing something special with it. And the game that I do have at the top of this list is a game that I only just found out about at the Game Awards, and that is a game called Rise of the Ronin. And that is made by Team Ninja. So they're the guys that do, what do you call those games? I can't even remember now. I've only actually played one of them. Oh, sorry, can't remember. It's right out of my head. But yeah, they're a great team, and it's probably going to be kind of like a Souls-like game. I think. I'm not entirely sure, but I do like those type of games, so I'm all in for this one. And it was funny because James, we just spoke to Maria Lewis, and she was saying something about the Ronin. Like, isn't that like it was like one of our favorite movies or something? She was saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. She was saying there were some influences from that in how she tried to write. Oh, it was how she wrote the heist plot
Ooh,
part
okay.
of Daughter of No One.
Yeah. Yeah, so that just, and when I'd seen that and then that conversation clicked in my head, I was like, oh yeah. And I'm like, that game looks brilliant. So that's actually my number one for next year.
Awesome. And Louise, your most anticipated release of next year?
Well, if you know me, when the Game Awards happened last year, I slept through it because I had a 9 a.m. lecture. But I woke up to over 10 different people that I know from like different sectors of doing stuff, like from uni, from doing this, from like Archeo Gaming internships and stuff, like professional in journalists DMing me being like, Louise, Hades 2 has been announced. Are you going to play it? So that is number one on my list. At the moment, it doesn't have a release date, but I'm assuming what they're going to do is what they did with the first one, is they're going to have it in like different stages of alpha and beta, and then do like a full console release. But they said maybe the summer, like Q2, Q3 next year, they might have the first alpha for people to play.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Supergiant, give me the Hunters of Artemis in there, please. If you're doing like similarities like characters, give me the Hunters of Artemis. Give me. And the other one is one that got like kind of a quiet announcement by Weta Workshop, who, if you don't know, works on Lord of the Rings. It's called Tales of the Shire. It's supposed to be like a little cute, wholesome Lord of the Ringsy game, but hobbits. That's pretty much what everyone knows about it so far. It's just cute and hobbits.
Oh yeah, I remember the trailer now. I'm just remembering. Yeah, that looked really cool.
Yeah, I'm just like,
now,
but
Weta,
given how
didn't they start as Weta Digital doing the digital effects for the Lord of the Rings trilogy?
Yeah.
I think.
So the studio's been around since like the 70s.
Okay.
But I think everyone knows it now from doing the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Right.
To the point that the developers there actually coded CGI fire for the Fellowship of the Ring. Like they wrote the code for CGI fire for that film because of like the technology at the time. And then it's just become a whole thing. They've done other films. They've done like the I think some of the Chronicles of Narnia films. They've done weapons for I can't remember. I should have done my research. But what is it? Weta FX, formerly known as Weta Digital. The Jungle Book 2016, King Kong, Bridge of Terabithia, Avatar and Way of the Water.
Oh wow.
The Lovely Bones. Aragon, which, depending on how you feel about Aragon,
haven't seen it.
Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. Alvin and the Chipmunks, The Road Chip.
Brilliant.
Deadpool, Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
So what you're telling us is they know their way around
Alita
visual
Battle
effects.
Angel, that's the one I'm thinking of.
Right.
But so like I have hopes for this. However, releases of Lord of the Rings related films, games this year have not been good. We know what happened with Gollum. Return to Moria, which came out a few weeks ago, it didn't tank as hard, but it's had like very poor reviews. So I'm worried. I'm very kind of worried.
I believe some reviewers called Gollum one of the worst games ever made, which is quite a statement. I mean, I've only seen gameplay. I've not bought it or played it, but it looks awful.
Kind of want to buy it and do like a charity live stream playing it,
that would actually
just
be
so
really
I can be like, I'm suffering for charity.
Yeah,
I will play this, and we'll get through it. But it's absolutely dreadful.
100% endorse this idea and want you to do it. I think that would be hilarious.
I will happily donate to a good cause of your choosing, Louise, if you promise to stream you playing Gollum.
Stream it. I will platinum that baby.
Oh
wow! All right.
2024. Watch it coming.
Oh
awesome. Love it. Love it. All right. So this brings us to the final award, the final category of the night. Best game we played this year. Now, of course, the way it's phrased, it doesn't need to be a 2023 release. It's just the best overall game that we played. this year, Mr. Chris.
Okay, so my choice is not Assassin's Creed Mirage, although I love the game. My choice is, and it is actually a game that came out this year. It is Armored Core 6: Fires of Rubicon by
Oh,
From Software.
that's like a mech warrior kind of
Yes,
thing. Yeah,
and
I've seen some gameplay. It looks amazing.
I used to play the Armored Core games when I was younger. I was never very good at them or anything. But I always loved the big mechs and all that stuff. It was crazy, and it was only in the past few years that I got into Souls-like games. And this isn't a Souls game, but it's made by From Software, so you definitely can feel the influence in there. It is extremely hard, and it is so fast-paced, it's unreal. But the sense of achievement that you get from like clearing one of the levels or taking down one of the bosses, man, it's just unreal. It's the same feeling I got from the first time I played Sekiro, and that was the game that it started me on my Souls journey. Because, like I said, I went for years and years. Dark Souls 1 and 2, all these things came out. I could not be interested in them in the slightest. I always thought to myself, why would you want to play a game that's that hard and just kicks your ass constantly? Then Sekiro came out, and I really like Japanese stuff. So I was like, oh, that game looks really fun. I should play that. And I did. I ended up getting it. And although it kicked my ass for about half a year, I finally figured it out. And now it's like, it is actually my favorite game ever. And Armored Core 6 gave me that same feeling. And it was just something I hadn't really done before. Very hard, very rewarding. So that's my choice.
Awesome, mate. That's a great nomination. Great story as well. Louise, over to you.
So, my nomination is not a new release, although I did play it for the first time this year. It actually didn't even start as a full game. It started as a mod for Skyrim. We're talking about the Forgotten City. So, do you know the Skyrim mod story for this one?
Let's assume, just for the audience, just pretend one of the hosts of tonight's episode had never played Skyrim, just as an example.
Okay.
You know.
So this is like the most popular mod for Skyrim, to the point that the developer left his job and developed it into a full game. It's basically time loopy, like detective work set in an ancient Roman city, where you have so this entire settlement lives under this thing called the Golden Rule, where if you commit a crime, you murder, you steal, you lie in certain ways, where you do something that is kind of deemed as committing a sin, you break the Golden Rule and everyone's punished. They basically, these gold statues come to life and then they turn everyone else into statues. Like the many shall suffer for the sins of the one, kind of collective punishment thing. But you are brought in to help the Legionnaire determine who is going to break the rule before they do it. Kind of like, oh, what's that film with Tom Cruise in it? Total Recall?
No, I know the one you're thinking of. It was one of the oh my God.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Not Oblivion. The other one, he did it around the same time. I know what you mean. Sorry,
you know
carry on.
You mean.
Yeah.
But that sort of thing of like, there is this time loop thing but also a lot of like exploration of what is a sin, what is crime, like how do you determine who is in charge, and like a lot of quite interesting dynamics of like how each story links into another and gives you at least one other story to go and interact with. Game Maker's Toolkit and I think it's Jacob Geller have done really good video essays on it, looking at both like the story aspect of it,
okay,
but also like the history of like the in-world history of like building on civilizations. There's like 4 endings to this game, and I just really enjoyed it. I really love like time loopy puzzle things, and like there was a bit in it where you talk to someone to go in a temple of Diana, by the way, so I was very, very happy.
Very nice.
Because on brand. But He's talking to you about like decimation, the Roman thing of decimation of like if they were punished, they literally pulled straws and one guy was beaten to death by the other nine. And this thing of you can't, like, legionnaires had to rely on each other to keep everyone safe. And the responding line is, I know how you feel. I've lived through a pandemic, which hits a lot harder in ye times of post-COVID. But it's just really, really well done. I enjoyed it. It's one of the ones that got you to think and you have to engage with the people rather than just being like, I'm just going to complete quests. You have to kind of think through the dialogue options that you're picking.
I don't know how I've never heard of this. This sounds great, like totally up my alley, and it was made off of a Skyrim mod. Like, I don't know how I didn't know
Like
about this.
award-winning Skyrim mod
Yeah, I don't know.
turned into a full game. It's so good.
But completely
Would
over my
highly
head.
recommend.
But yeah, I'm definitely looking. I'm looking at it right now. I was like,
And the soundtrack's a banger too, so that always helps.
oh yeah, definitely.
So is it a standalone game, or do you have to install Skyrim and then install the mod?
No, it was released as a full game. I think it was made in Unity or like
right.
remade in on its own.
Okay.
But they basically kept the original Skyrim mod because the Skyrim mod was like a murder mystery in a Skyrim city with the time loop mechanic.
Gotcha.
But they just rebranded it all to be like ancient Roman.
And does it use like the Bethesda engine? Like, because I feel like, I mean, obviously Bethesda.
Definitely the combat mechanics.
Yeah.
Definitely combat mechanics and like the movement feel still very Skyrim.
Gotcha.
Cool, man.
But it was so much fun. Would recommend.
All right,
Awesome.
so that's the Forgotten City for Louise, Armored Core 6 for Chris, and we'll finish this episode with my nomination, which you'd probably already guessed because I've mentioned it in several categories. I mean, I've played a lot of games this year that I've really, really enjoyed, like we mentioned, BioShock Infinite. On Guard, that was a 2023 release that I played that's just brilliant fun. Uncharted Lost Legacy, for me, stands out as my favourite of the Uncharted games. Finished Horizon Forbidden West, Burning Shores, which is a great expansion to the base game. But I am nominating A Plague Tale Requiem. It's one of the best games I personally have ever played. It was released at the end of last year, autumn last year, but I didn't play it until January, and just brilliant. I don't have words to describe it. Play it for the story. The gameplay is excellent. The performances are excellent. Visual feast. So yeah, that is my nomination for the best game that I played this year. A Plague Tale Requiem.
Brilliant choice. Cannot wait to play that one.
I'm worried that
well.
I've built it up too much, and you might go
You
into
sold
it going,
it well, I will admit.
I hope so. I hope you enjoy it because I thought it was great.
And I love how all three of us have said throughout this video, like, oh, we're trying to get through our backlogs, we're making it a challenge, and then we've all probably come away with like 10 more games to add on.
Oh god, yeah! I'm going to make a nice like Word doc or something of all of these games, and we'll put it. I'll put it in the show notes, and we three can download it and add to our backlogs even more with more games. So it's all
Mine's
good.
over 200 already.
Oh,
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Louise,
I've
step
done that
away
thing
from
of,
the
like,
credit card. Stop buying games.
Yeah. Like it's the same thing with books. I've like told people don't buy me books and don't buy me games. I'm working through what I have.
yeah.
And yet I'm playing Tetris at the moment.
Brilliant.
Tetris and Power Wash Simulator.
I've heard that's very soothing.
It is, but have a podcast on while you do it because there is no music other than spraying water.
Gotcha. All right. Well, that's the end of this is the first time we've done this, and I think it's been a really fun way to talk about the games that we've played this year and which ones stood out to us. So that's our first ever Christmas Game Awards on the show. I think we should do this every year.
Yeah.
It's been great to chat to you both and hear your opinions on what you've played. Chris, any final thoughts before we close the show?
Jeff Keighley, sort out your awards show.
Indeed.
Stop selling your soul to the advertisers, for God's sake. Let people talk about industry layoffs.
Yeah.
No, I didn't watch it. it was only the next day when I was reading the news, reading Reddit, and everyone is like, what the fuck was this? And then I went and watched a few clips. Some of the award categories, he just read them out and then read
Yeah.
out the winner in 10 seconds and was done. It's
Yeah.
like, give people their minute of fame on the stage. What? That blew my mind. I don't care if you run the occasional trailer,
I
to be
honestly
honest.
think that Creator of the Year should have been someone else as well. Like, People Makes Games got nominated this year, and they do a lot of really good investigative journalism in the video game space. Like,
Right.
their ones on Roblox, on Ubisoft's Bitcoin mining. What's the other one? What's the other one they did? Like, they do a lot of like really in-depth research as well as having fun with games, with like Blaze Ball and like role playing the end of the world in California with people. Like, and they just gave it to a streamer.
Yeah.
They gave the award to a streamer who's probably done charity streams and stuff, but probably hasn't done the deep dive work that should be recognized like that.
Yeah.
Respect to anyone who creates something and builds an audience, but there's millions of streamers. I don't know. Seems a bit of a weird category. How can you pick one person?
Yeah. Oh no, the one that got me was because they had like 3 or 4 different things for esports, and it's like the best esports team, which I'm like, okay, whatever, and then it's like best esports manager or something like that. So what is this?
This isn't football.
Exactly. So this just gets worse every year.
Indeed. What about you, Louise? Any closing thoughts?
I think those were my closing thoughts of like, People Make Games got robbed. The Game Awards this year were a bit of a sham, and this is far superior.
Oh, indeed. Indeed.
And don't be afraid of the backlog, I guess. You're going to come away with more games than you started with. Just accept that. Just play the good ones that we've recommended.
Absolutely. All right. Well, that is it for episode 172. This will be the last episode we publish this year. We will take a short break over Christmas and we'll be back in January. We don't exactly know when. Do you know what? We don't even really have any show ideas, Chris. So we're going to have to get brainstorming over Christmas. But
I have an idea. You can come hop over to the Rookeries archives if you want.
We will do that. That's where we're going first. We're going to go and join Louise on her channel and we're going to have a good conversation. Yeah. So Chris, Louise, thank you very much for joining me. It's been great to chat, and we'll leave it there and see you all in the new year. Have a good Christmas.
Bye.
Happy holidays, folks.